Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I'm your struggling host, Chris. As always, brought to you by...
You're the worst.
Right? I know. I'm just completely off today. As always, joined by my co-host, Sean.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Did you guys tell him I was going to be here?
Oh, there he goes.
Did you guys announce
You don't exist yet.
You don't exist yet.
And John.
Who was that?
I knew.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard
excited.
a voice. Did you hear a voice?
I canceled things to be here
Wait,
for
what?
you.
No.
Did you?
Well, technically, I didn't accept things to be here with you.
Yeah, but then you had to go
You've been
drop...
podcasting too long to be tapping the table, honestly.
Oh,
It's sloppy.
They want. Oh my god! Dude, is he gonna do this the whole time?
Podcast etiquette.
Son of a.
That's actually the reason John invited me on. It's Anthem. I don't even care about it.
It's more about cleaning this
mess.
S show up. See, because S means
Chris?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
Who the
distracting.
crap is that?
You're distracting all of us.
That guy.
I don't know. It's Chris.
Hey, that used to be a thing.
Games and games.
Chris and Chris.
Games and games.
Chris and Chris.
Games and games. Well, Chris and Chris.
Sean has actually followed me around work and just said, "Game on, Chris." He does it all the time.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a
He
thing.
leaves his job and just...
We'll be like in the bathroom and not
So
together.
I was joking about him following me. I was joking about him following me, but he has actually come into the bathroom before and said "game on" to
And
me.
walked
while I was
out.
in the bathroom.
I saw him walk in.
Game on.
Walk in, game on. He's like at a urinal and I walk out. It's good stuff. Yeah, but we all work together. It's kinda cool.
We do.
It's good to see you. I see you,
right.
like you mentioned, I do see you from time to time in the workhouse.
I know that you feel that way.
Yeah.
That it's good to see me.
That's all that matters.
I see him time to time. These days
He
too.
used to come by your
Time
house.
to time.
all the time.
Time to time. That's funny. Chris, will you quit tinkering?
You guys
For the love of God.
take a look at the line, and you know why I'm watching right
the
now.
line's okay.
You all are loud as mother...
But you're not like on a soundboard away from the main band. You're like right here next to the band. No tinkering. We
will tinker.
got the post production crew
How
that'll
much
fix
tinkering
everything.
needs to be done.
That's not how it works.
Is it not set?
It's amazing how from week to week
week to week.
things change.
Week to week.
Things change.
Well, what
This is a
happens?
fidgeter.
This is
No,
the
what
worst
happens
joke.
is like they go from one week, and like this week, for instance, I've noticed like Sean is a little bit closer. So when he's talking at the same volume, but you're also here and you're encouraging. So Sean's raising up a little bit more.
like Petey Pablo.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like
Huh?
it's a
So
dual effect thing.
This
Like
makes
he's
perfect
closer.
sense. Sean's sloppy mic skills is what's causing
Exactly.
the problem. I get that.
Yeah.
Ouch. But I'm on your side.
You want to be about a fist length away most of the time?
No, I go fist deep.
But really, I'm just being quiet because I'm trying to preserve my voice as long as I can.
That is not
Don't worry,
funny.
I'll step in if you need me to.
What was that?
It's hilarious.
Why'd your eyes get that big,
Because
John?
fisting, right? Fisting.
But more importantly, John,
Like
you,
Mario.
you survived Sunday, right?
Yeah.
We were tweeting or texting each other back
Yeah.
and forth. I was like, "Buddy, don't die."
So across the United States, you may have heard about the bad storms that raged through the southern parts of your country, and one of the main
Yugoslavia.
tornadic events came really close to where I live.
The main.
Yeah,
Is
it was,
tornadic a word?
yeah,
It is.
it's legit.
That's impressive.
It was a little scary. It was close in the meaning the area near us, but it was, if it's not on you, you should be very thankful. But there were some devastation.
Devastation.
Yeah, there was some devastation. There was some devastating stuff that happened. The school districts are not they're not going to be open tomorrow again, or today. Which when you hear this is Wednesday, so that's 3 days in a row they're closed because one of the local schools is no longer has a roof.
Oh, God.
Ouch.
Yeah, there were some deaths in some of the more rural parts of the storm's path.
24, last I heard.
Yeah, so if who knows if people listen to us that were affected by it or know people that were affected by it. But of course, if you were, we hope everything gets back to as close to normal as possible, as quick as possible, because
For sure.
it was kind of scary. But yeah, we survived, and then the next day or that same night, snow.
Yeah, right. No, that was last night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So
Was
like
there snow?
Yeah, last
There
night
was
from like
flurries
1 to
last
4,
night,
like
yeah.
snow.
Man,
really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that happened. That's
Well,
weather.
that's what caused the
the whole thing in the
Tornadoes,
first place.
yeah.
Yeah, the cold
the
front was meeting the warm front. John,
See, when warm
See-
air meets cold air.
see, John, weather is
I read an article today that our area
Uh-huh.
has now been categorized as the new path of Tornado Alley.
For this
So
time of year, I believe
it's
it.
kind of pivoting.
Now,
the
is that an
trajectory.
alley or is that a tornado named alley?
It's a term referring to where the most
I'm not
tornadoes
joking.
hit
which makes it funny.
the United States, like the path that it usually hits.
Now I'm joking. So could you have a tornado named alley coming down Tornado Alley? Would that be confusing?
They don't
Because
they-
I've never heard the term Tornado Alley in my whole life.
yeah, well,
Because you've
you're
never seen
dumb.
Twister.
Why would I have seen Twister? I was like 5 when it came out.
That's a good
Isn't
point.
that insane?
Is it a good point?
That's a fair
You
point.
still need to watch Twister.
I saw Titanic. That's enough.
That's enough.
Once
of that.
you've seen like one disaster movie based around the elements, you're good.
No, this one has Philip
Was it?
Seymour Hoffman.
Wasn't the same guy in Titanic
You know,
and
I-
Twister?
I feel like you could
No.
pick a better
No,
Philip Seymour
not
Hoffman
Leonardo
film
DiCaprio.
to lead
Oh,
with than
Bill
Twister.
Paxton?
Bill
Just to say.
Paxton. Bill Paxton was in both movies.
Plus, the film was written by Michael Crichton.
I don't know if you know
It
this.
was.
He wrote Jurassic Park.
Indeed. Fun fact.
Even
alert.
as the youngest, most virile man at this table, I still know who Michael Crichton is.
Thank you, sir.
I like that he said
Okay.
virile. I don't think we've ever said that word on this podcast.
I like Sphere. That was
Like
good.
that's your word, sphere.
That's my
That's his
favorite
favorite
Crichton.
novel.
Yeah,
As is it is mine.
yeah.
Well, it's probably second to
You guys are. There's too much of this
too much
liking.
nerdness.
No, this liking the
Coming
same
together?
stuff.
Mm.
No.
Coming together.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's called Companionship, Sean.
No.
Look it up.
Yeah, I don't like it. Not with those two.
Okay, fine.
It's weird.
Alabama sucks.
Okay, we're back.
Right.
And then you say roll tide.
FM.
But yeah, I finished the Umbrella Academy too.
No
How
spoilers.
was that?
No spoilers.
I didn't know we were going to talk about that. I'll kill
No.
you.
Oh, I love that guy. It was okay.
He will kill you.
I just said no spoilers. I don't want to know how it was overall.
It was
That's
okay.
basically
Hey,
a
you didn't
spoiler.
ask for it, but guess what? I said it.
I'm going to German suplex you in the parking lot when we're done.
You want to see that, John?
I
watched,
You do want to see that.
I watched Finding Neverland. That was hard. Or I'm sorry, Leaving Neverland.
What?
The new HBO, it's from Sundance. It was a 2-part, 4-hour documentary that got
Michael
picked
Jackson.
up by HBO.
Michael
yeah,
Jackson.
and that was a hard watch. Just say that.
You know what else is hard? My concentration on the new show that I've been watching.
Oh, what's that?
It's an anime. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
What's
No,
an anime?
no anime.
Boo anime.
Are you going to see Captain Marvel this weekend? Anyone?
Is it coming out this weekend?
I
Yeah,
can't, it's
it's
coming.
a-
I cannot wait.
Did you read the article I sent you?
Yeah, I giggled.
That's good.
I hope it's good.
The viewers, they're going to love that. What's the article? I don't know about the
Nope.
article.
No big deal.
No,
Okay.
we don't need to share that article.
I'm going to see Captain Marvel. I don't know about this weekend because I didn't know it was coming out
Yeah.
this weekend. But yeah, I'm gonna see it.
You should go
one
with
thing,
us.
One thing I can say is
No.
the original. I think the original projections for the film was like 160 million, and over the past few weeks they've been scaling it back and scaling it back and
See
scaling.
what he's doing.
Yeah,
Because men hate women.
That's the theory.
That's the theory. And I only said it because it's the theory. I still think it's going to do fine.
Oh,
and
sure.
I think loss of interest in it. Let's say, excuse me. Let's say that this was because men hate women, just in a hypothetical sense. Do we really want those people going to the movie anyway? If you really just hate women and that's why you're not going, don't come to my movie.
Oh, anybody will take their money. Absolutely.
That is true.
Yeah.
They don't care where they get it.
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
executives.
Oh, I'm not an executive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want people I don't like to like the things that I like.
That's fair.
Fair example, anime. Hate anime fans. Let's not talk about it.
But
oh,
actually,
good call.
I watched a show she was in this week, and I did not realize when I started it up this weekend that she was in it.
Scott Pilgrim.
No. I knew she was in that. That was the first time I ever saw her in anything.
Yeah,
The United States of Terra. Like, she's the daughter in that show. I was like, where? I was like, I'm
So
pretty
she's
sure that's Brie
Tara?
Larson. No, she's.
I think, yeah, that's accurate. I think I read that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's
Thanks
true.
for doubting me.
Thanks for fact
considering he
Chris.
said,
Oh, I thought he
watched
was
it.
questioning it.
No.
No,
No,
I was helping you. I thought he was being.
no,
He's a jerk.
I just said, wait, who's a jerk? Which one of us?
Our
He's like
guest.
everyone.
Oh,
Our guest. Welcome to the show.
thank you.
But anyways.
Well, it's not really a welcome. I was here, I left.
that's
you know,
gross, dude.
Yeah, I don't know why I watch that show,
Wipe
but
yourself.
like
That's a joke.
I just watched all 3 seasons. Did not take long.
Just sit back.
That's good.
And she was in there. And did you ever see the show on Netflix, Atypical?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've heard like
She's not in that.
No. But the main the main kid from Atypical is the son in this show.
The one with autism.
Yeah, but he doesn't have autism this time.
What?
I know, right? My
wait, in the
mind
second
blown.
season.
No, in the United States of Terror, he's just like the regular son in this.
Well,
Actually, he's not really regular.
I did know the guy in Atypical doesn't really have autism, but
it's called acting,
he's very good at what he does.
apparently.
Yeah.
See, I've heard split things. I've heard that it's like a great representation of autism, and I've heard it's a terrible representation of autism. So, based on
It's
no
almost
facts
people-
or articles,
It's almost like people have different opinions about.
yeah, they're
things, huh?
split.
Yeah, kind of like Last Jedi. Wait, how do we get back to that? No,
Shut your face.
Wait, what are you guys' opinions on Last Jedi?
that's hilarious.
Just really quick,
I've learned to like it.
okay?
It's
Sean.
I still can't speak on it.
Does that mean he didn't like it?
Oh.
I don't know.
Just be a man.
I don't remember.
and use your
I think
words.
he didn't.
I don't know how to articulate
He
it without
just
curse
said-
words.
He just said, "Be a man and use your words."
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Then
It was a strong.
caveman speak.
A middling thumb.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a strong
It's fine.
thumbs down for
Chris, you loved it. Yeah, SJW.
It wasn't that. I just love the shots in it.
Look, okay.
That was my big thing.
The fight scene where Kylo Ren and
That's
Woman
beautiful.
Jedi.
Yeah, that's
Ray,
beautiful.
Ray, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Where they fight those
was pretty
red guys,
BA, right?
That was sick.
BA.
Yeah, when just that's
And evil-
BA.
I couldn't enjoy it the first time I saw it because of the seconds before the fight. Really, just
Oh
you know.
God.
I don't recall.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I think
the
it's-
most applicable thing to these two is that part at the end when the dude puts his finger down and goes, salt. That's how they felt about it. They were very salty.
that was a weird line. It's salt.
And that's the director too. That's Garth who does that line.
Who?
Or isn't that not Garth? Why did I say
Ryan.
Garth?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan.
Ryan Johnson.
Where'd I get
You
Garth
just-
from?
What
Just-
a
hey,
liar.
Just
Fact
just-
check him, John.
yeah.
Fact check him again.
Google him now. I don't know, dude.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
So
The
why
more
is-
times I've watched that movie,
Yeah.
the strong thumbs down is coming up a little bit.
Yeah. There's plenty of things to like about the movie, and it looks great in 4K.
Yeah.
Really good.
But
Well, just showing off your class, huh? Showing off how high up you are. Do you have a 4K TV, Chris?
Right behind you.
Oh, scum. Sean, do you have a 4K
Of course
TV?
I do.
You guys are all bad guys. I can't believe, I cannot believe that you guys are just flexing on your listeners.
yeah. Well, we've done episodes where we kind of tell them what TVs to buy too, so they can be on our level.
Marketing
Sanyo.
chills. I
sure to
still
pick
have a
up the,
CRT television.
Make sure to pick up the Sanyo 4K.
Sanyo.
Do they still make
129.
TVs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
course
haven't heard
they
of
do.
Sanyo in a long time.
I did help Jeff.
Who's that?
Geoff.
Geoff?
Geoff.
Yeah. What'd y'all do?
Well, no, I meant like when he wanted a TV.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Did you help him steal one?
No, I just
Didn't
steered him
you-
to a good brand.
Didn't
that
you
wasn't as
advise him to
price
get
range.
like a small TV? Doesn't he have like
No. I actually advised him to get a bigger TV, but he said he didn't want a big one because it was just going into.
Because he wasn't used to it. Oh. Nothing?
Well, that too.
Easy.
I've been trying to get him trained for years.
He when he built his gaming PC, he went with playing most of his stuff on a monitor. And he's recently said that he wanted to get I think he got a TV for that too instead of the gaming
He got
monitor.
like a 49-inch,
which is crazy because most people who game on PCs want that smaller monitor.
yeah.
So it's all encompassing. You can see everything at once. The refresh rate
Wait.
is amazing. But he went against it. He's going against the grain. So
Yeah, he wanted that 4K, but it was like I tried to tell him like 4K is specifically to achieve large picture images, but what can you do?
He copied that from Wikipedia.
I read it.
From Wikipedia.
Anything else go on this week? Did you watch any other things besides anime? Any movies? Any Netflix
I bought
stuff?
a new game.
Did you?
Yeah, A Link Between Worlds. Legend of Zelda: A Link Between
Dude,
Worlds.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I just started it, but I'm actually really enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
Did you play Link to the Past?
No.
Okay.
What am I, a loser? It came out when I was like 4.
That's classic.
Man.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Thank you.
I think did we do an episode on that game?
Yeah. If we
2013 when that
No.
game came out.
Okay,
wasn't
so no.
it? Yeah.
we
I
didn't
couldn't remember
we talked
exactly
about
when
it.
it came out.
I bought a new 2DS XL because the Switch is killing the DS. And I've got a 3DS XL, but I never used the 3D. And I figured Nintendo products last a long time, so I'll just go ahead and pick up something new before it comes off the shelf, and then keep it. I'll have it for years and years. And when I went to go pick that up, I saw a Link Between Worlds for $20, and I was like, I always wanted to try this game.
You got a 2DX XL?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. I thought you got.
You
the,
were almost judged.
Do they
I,
still
no, I
look
thought
like
he got the doorstop. Thing.
But yeah, I was about to say, is like, are they still shaped like a doorstop?
No, this one's the clamshell.
The XL is
Okay.
a clamshell. I was gonna buy one of those dumb 2DSs.
You know,
for
the doorstop.
for my brother. Yeah, for my brother years ago. When I was like, oh, that's super cheap, and he wants a DS, and then I never did it. And then when they started making them in the clamshell, I was like, this is how it should have always been. This should have just always been. Why on earth would I want this ugly, stupid? What's the? You guys are old. What's the?
Dang.
Etch-a-sketch. It's like an etch-a-sketch. Come on. I'm going to spend money on that?
No, it's for children such as yourself,
When
the young whippersnapper
when
that
did
you
he-
are,
John,
to not break.
when did he
Because
get
that
this
clamshell,
funny?
he's never been funny.
Dude, it's hilarious.
No, you think
I'm not going to be able to talk
you're
much.
delirious. So you take the clamshell design, and they didn't want kids to just snap it back. You know, people,
Yeah.
kids open, close, and snap things. So this one's virtually indestructible, so you can throw
Is
it
it?
at people.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not
all right,
making fun
okay,
of you.
all right,
I
take a
swear.
sledgehammer to it. There's going to be problems. Yes,
I'm not messing with you. I'm not going to say, if I drop it off the Empire State Building, is it still going to work?
that's clearly where you were
No,
going.
that's not where I was going. My question was, is it truly more durable than a standard 3DS or 2DS?
Correctamundo.
Okay, that's fair. If you want to give it to some dumb kid, if you want to go and waste $80 on some dumb kid, sure.
That's funny.
Seems like the way to go.
Oh my god!
You know, this feels like such great vibes and atmosphere.
It is. It's. I'm enjoying every second of
I
this.
feel
Chris.
like if we didn't take advantage of it and go to the topic, I feel like we would be wasting. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm also just trying to save my voice as long as I can.
yeah. So,
So I
it's,
am
it's cool.
rushing a little bit.
Don't rush.
I'm sorry.
Is this? Are you trying to? Is this? What are you doing?
Well, right now I'm trying to be able to hit the button when I need to.
Okay.
Important. That's important to do.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of like the pilot of the show when it comes to that,
Yep.
because you have a controller.
I'm old Han Solo here.
You are one of those things. Damn, old. That's what I meant.
All right.
Someone said I was almost 30 recently, so I just feel like I got to give it back. You know, like
But
that
we
movie,
never-
The
to
Sixth
the
Sense.
people who never
the other
inflicted
movie.
Yeah. This is
Soon you will-
unwarranted. Like,
It was unwarranted when he called me basically 30. He said, "You don't have any kids? Aren't you like 30?"
what guy?
Just a guy who's younger than me, you know?
Right. Not us.
now you know how it
Yeah,
feels.
and I know. And now I'm serving it back.
How old are you?
28.
Bless your heart.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What I would do to be 28 again.
You're almost at that magical period where one day you just wake up and you're like, I'm an adult and I'm in a different generation than young people.
Yeah, but see, the great thing
It's
is,
a weird.
it's
the
weird.
great thing
It
is
is.
I'm
I've
really
been there.
weird.
Been there for a minute, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm like in this weird mixed spot where I feel complete superiority to the generation below me,
Gotcha.
but also none at all. Like I'm like 50-50 split on, oh, they're just kids doing what kids do, and also, wow, what a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. Gotcha. That's how I think everyone.
Welcome
always
to the
feels,
club.
Right.
He's the best. I mean,
Eventually, we all become what we hate.
yeah.
Older Americans.
What was your birthday?
He's got to save it in his calendar.
Is it going to be on the podcast? I don't want to say it if it's going to be on
Yeah,
the
that's
podcast.
probably a fair
What
point.
year were you born?
If he's 28, that's-
1991.
it's easy math.
Summer, spring, fall?
Winter. There's 4 seasons. Now, if it's on the podcast, it's hilarious.
You were barely born when Link to the Past came out. You weren't 4.
How old was that? You said barely born?
Barely born.
Yeah, I would never play that game. Did they remaster it?
No?
Yeah, it's
You
called
don't-
Link
you
to Two
don't-
I
Worlds.
thought they put on
No, you don't.
Game Boy Advance.
No, it's not a
Remember that?
remaster.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
but, you know.
You don't need to remaster that game.
That's fair. I haven't beat
Coming
Breath of
next
the
year,
Wild yet.
remastered. Right?
I haven't beat Breath of the Wild yet, but
Same.
but I have.
It's on Switch.
I'm playing on Wii U.
I know.
I'm actually
What
going to
is-
cave and get a Switch
what
eventually.
is that?
Is it a Switch?
No.
Wii U.
What's that?
It's
Reggie's
the it's
favorite
the
console?
it's the console that Nintendo gave up on, and then conned all of you into buying Switches so you could play
It worked.
Breath of the Wild. I know it did.
And the Switch is amazing.
Line up, sheep. I'm gonna buy the Switch for Pokemon. Probably. I'm gonna cave in.
The Dreamcast was a failure. They abandoned it. The Saturn was a failure. They abandoned it. Nintendo spent 4 years supporting the Wii U.
Yes, but then they also
Actually,
just
5 years.
delayed Breath of the Wild continuously to make it work on both consoles so they could split the purchase.
That's
That's a
not
little
true.
disingenuous.
That's
I think.
not true.
I think it was disingenuous of Nintendo. Thank you, Chris.
No, I meant what he said. Like Saturn, I think was supported for 3 or 4 years, and then Dreamcast wasn't really abandoned. Dreamcast as a company, Sega had to give up on because they couldn't afford to be a company that manufactured consoles anymore.
Oh, fact check locker.
Yeah,
Get fact checked.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You guys should start doing that to each other now.
you just got checked.
I shouldn't spread
Bang,
misinformation. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You also shouldn't spread. Oh, what happened?
I just wanted a top-down Zelda game, though. So I haven't made Breath of the Wild, but I just wanted a top-down Zelda game. So
Did you hear about that new Zelda game that's coming out?
That's the old one.
That's the old one.
No, I didn't.
Link's Awakening.
I heard about it. I just
It's
didn't
dope.
want to continue the conversation with Sean.
Boo! Shut your face. Die.
All right.
Injustice 2's gear system overall was a really big letdown. I've moved past Evolve now. And I'm on Injustice 2's gear system. I can't believe they've done this. And I should have been brought back when they had the Ninja Turtles on as DLC. So,
You're just saying? A little salty?
oh yeah.
On that note,
He came on the podcast and mentioned Evolve. It's
Right?
amazing.
I figured
love
that
it.
part wasn't going to go in. I'm going to try not to mention Evolve in the actual.
You know, all the things going on.
Because there's
We
probably
don't-
no
I don't go
throwback
there.
fans.
All the things
all
go
the
in.
things stay. Everything.
Do you guys still talk about Evolve then?
Never.
Wait, this is gonna go. This is gonna be uncut. Even you guys talking about Jeff and his TV?
oh yeah,
Cut that.
No.
Please cut that.
We're not
no
cutting.
one knows who Jeff is.
They-
no
no.
offense, Jeff.
We
no
don't
one
cut.
cares.
They do. He once gave a game a 6 on a scale that he made up on air. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we don't care.
no 6.9.
Yeah. There's things. We have fans, man.
Just
They like
drag
us.
and drop. Drag and drop.
Yeah.
All right, let's
You want to do this? Pivot
yeah,
time?
Pivot.
All right.
Let's do it.
Topic time.
The topic is. The topic is I'm not hearing myself.
the
That's
topic
funny.
is.
We're recording. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm just. It's,
What'd you do? Are you pushing buttons that they hear it? They hear this. This is going to be in there too.
no, they won't hear that.
You sure?
Yeah, because that's a separate thing. That's
He's
not-
saying
Is
this
it?
conversation, aren't you?
Both.
Anyways,
Yeah.
the topic is Anthem, a game that no one was anticipating, no one expected.
I did a lot of research for this, and I just can't believe that Blue Cross Blue Shield changed their name.
That's funny.
It's
That's
not.
pretty funny.
It's not.
Oh, he sat on that one, people.
No, I didn't. I thought of it. I said it. I regretted it. Just
you
say
should.
it and regret it, like the old
Say it.
infomercials.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anthem started as
I don't-
codename Dylan.
It was. Yeah, it was originally called Project Dylan because it was supposed to be their big game that changed everything in the way that Bob Dylan did.
Wow. Missed
Nerd
the
alert.
mark.
That's not pretentious at all.
Hold on one second.
Well-
Y'all talk for a second.
Well, I do finally want to get Chris's comments on there, so I'm kind of excited about that. Not you, the other one.
Oh,
As I looked at our guest, because his name is also Chris, but it's a Bioware game. So, and Chris,
Well-
Chris loves these generally.
I will
what do you
say,
mean? Are you trying to say I'm the Bioware guy? Of the-
well,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I really am.
I'm not setting up Chris or anything, but I was surprised when the game dropped and the Metacritic score showed up as a, what was it now, 63, 60,
Currently,
between 60
John.
and 63. And I'm not saying this because Metacritic is all that matters. I don't believe it does. That's not the point. But
Let's go to the tape.
everybody
He
was
says-
saying that Andromeda was not real BioWare. This is real BioWare.
Yeah, this
And
is
even
Edmonton.
I have been saying this is I cannot anticipate this game being bad. And for some reason somebody somewhere has not yet cracked the code for games as a service.
Yeah, when they
it would
launch.
It would seem.
I don't think it's even that. It's not that they haven't cracked the code. It's more of, I think it's obvious that these companies realize that they can put something out that has issues, because people that play these games understand that they improve and change over time. You know,
Well,
I think they get feedback, and they figure out, okay, people like this, they don't like this, they are abusing these parts of the game that we didn't think were going to happen, and they make patches and they update. The problem, though, of course, is that for those who are early adapters, you just kind of have to accept the fact you're getting a game that has issues or isn't really up to par compared to something like when, Breath of the Wild launches, or, a Mario game, whatever.
With
right?
6 years in development,
6 years.
Should we
Yeah, I know.
should we be just expecting that? Because
No, not at all. I told you guys before we recorded about, I guess last week at some point, I go, there probably was a point in time before, like, say, Destiny or before a Division launch, that gamers would be more receptive to a game maybe struggling out the gate that's set up like this. But when you have the people, I feel most of the people that play this type of game are your Destiny fans, are your Division fans, and then of course other people as well that get hype on the new stuff that comes out. But me being a hardcore Destiny gamer like I was, this game feels a lot like Destiny for obvious reasons to me, especially when you're in your exosuit and you're doing the things. But it's just, I don't know. I don't think in this day and age anymore that you can have these problems or whatever issues that people aren't liking. People are going to bail out. Did you see what they did to Titanfall? Right?
But look at Apex Legends.
Yeah.
But Apex Legends has fixed that, right? Yeah.
Well, what's this? We've got data on UK sales charts. This isn't always indicative of what it's going to be, but last I read, this game has been either 10% of the physical sales of Andromeda or 10% of the physical sales of Destiny. I can't remember which two games.
No, it was.
That's a terrible stat either way.
It was 30% less first week sales than Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay. I thought was what I saw.
And then 10% of the sales of the original Destiny.
Yeah.
But comparing almost any game to the original sales of the original Destiny is
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because Bungie sold a similar lie, which is a fully fleshed live service. It just is unfortunate that a game like Destiny and a game like The Division and some other game I can't remember right now, they all got to do that. And now Anthem, which I do think has glaring flaws, and I've got my own very big problems with it, does not get a similar pass because I think it is a better game.
I agree to that
Mostly specifically when it comes to the gameplay and the mobility, I feel much more in control of what I'm doing, and I feel much more powerful in this world than I ever did in Destiny. I never played The Division, and whatever the third game I can't remember right now. So I'm sure
you feel like this out the gate is automatically far stronger than Destiny was out the gate?
Gameplay.
I do.
Gameplay wise.
I think that's the saving grace of it. Like, there's just no denying anyone.
If this were a first-person shooter, no one would play.
Yeah, I know you guys haven't played nearly as much as I have,
right?
And I think actually the part that's most stable is the beginning part, like the upfront hours, like early hours. I didn't see a lot of issues. I don't know. I mean, I remember John called me that first day I was playing. I was like, "What the heck are they talking about?" Like, and it wasn't until I got later I started to go like, "Oh, this is what they're talking about."
Dude, there was a post on Facebook from you saying, I've read the
where all
reviews
the
and I don't understand what people are talking about.
But like Chris is right in the sense that at the very least, if you take out the technical issues, the core loop of it is very fun. And unlike something like Destiny to me, where when I played Destiny, like they promised that I could be this space wizard class or whatever, right? What is that class called in Destiny?
Warlock.
Yes. And it really
a great word and just ruin it.
Yeah, the class wizard thing, the two things.
But really, like when I actually played it, it felt like, okay, yeah, there's like one or two things I can do that are a little bit different than these other people, but still, I'm primarily just shooting guns. That's really what I'm doing.
The
in this
same
game.
guns that every other class can equip.
Exactly. Too. Versus this, where I picked the Storm, and I think of like all my friends, I'm the only one who's picked that one, and it plays completely different.
I'm the Storm too.
Than anything else in that game. And it's the same if you go and you pick the Interceptor or you pick the Colossus. Down to the Ranger, they all definitely feel unique in how they play, and I think Destiny has not achieved that in years as far as variety to me.
And yet, when D3 comes out, oh man, they're going to be sitting under shovels, just waiting to get it in the face, and I'm going to be so furious. My biggest gripe with My thing with Anthem is I wanted to be much further than I was. Than I currently am in the game. My big problem came from the fact that when I wanted to play and I was ready to play, on the day that it launched, I was reading articles about if you start the game with people and you're playing the story mode with people, someone's going to get to see the cutscene, and likely someone's not going to get to see the cutscene. So you're gonna miss that chunk of the story. You're gonna play that mission, and then if you want the story, you're gonna have to replay that mission later. This is a game where the motto is strong alone, stronger together, and I can't play the co-op like system that you built in because you haven't got your servers figured out to where I could play with 3 people and we all get to experience the story together. Doesn't make any sense. So it put me off for a week, over a week. I was just like, well, if I can't play, like I bought this as a co-op game. I'm hyped for this game on my own, but I was hoping for a patch so I could just drill through the story in a weekend with the people that I play games with.
And with that, with issues like that, it'd be if the sales were skyrocketed off the charts, that may be understandable. But we have underwhelming sales out the gate.
Actually, just to clarify to what John said, Anthem did hold down number 1
it did
this week.
That's true.
It hold down number 1, but
sure.
It's the number 1 that sold way less than a Destiny did when it was number 1.
Yeah, I think like it's fair to say it's unlikely, at least right now. You know, that's the weird thing about these. Like, you don't know where it's going to be in a year, right? Like, no one knows. Remember how we were all talking about like Sea of Thieves when that came out on day 1?
Yeah.
And look where it is now. It's healthy. It's doing very well. Or you talk about even the biggest one, Rainbow Six Siege.
That thing
came out
monster.
And no one bought it.
But I can tell you, if Division 2 is even a little bit more polished than this, Anthem's toast.
Maybe.
It just is.
I don't think that the people signing up to play Anthem are necessarily the people. They're
right
signing up for
that.
the looter shooter, but the third person flight mechanics, different classes thing is going to bring in just a whole different class of people. It's just going to
being able to fly is amazing in this game.
That's easily the best flying I've played in video games. I think there's no question about that. Like
Well,
the sensation of
I still run into like mountainside, so I got to tighten up.
Not surprised by that. Another one of my big things with the game is, first of all, I bought the Legion of Dawn edition. I wasn't originally going to. But then I got an Xbox One X, and it came with a digital copy of Fallout 76, and I sold that for $20. And I figured, why not upgrade Anthem to the Legion of Dawn? And I got to say, I still don't have the armor that you're supposed to get when you buy that.
Jeff had that same problem.
Golly.
Did you go to the featured store to the redeem part?
Yeah, I did.
And
I uninstalled the special edition things and reinstalled them, and I spent 90 minutes in chat with a guy from EA customer support, which would have been a 10-minute phone call. He just was taking so long to respond to me that it was 90. And then he, at the end, said, we're going to have to escalate this. That was last Thursday. And now, as we record this, it's Tuesday. So here we are, and that was last Wednesday. So now it's been Thursday, Friday,
6 days.
Monday. So we're on our 4th business day, and I've got no update at all. Spent $20 extra on this, didn't get it. Now I know that the actual amount of armor in the game is extremely limited.
Yeah. Isn't it?
It's
crazy.
You get your base pieces, you get the pieces you can buy, and you get the pieces you can craft. And the pieces you can buy are only available when they're posted in the store, I'm pretty sure. It's infuriating for a game that's built around loot not to have a drop system for different pieces of armor. So now I can only look like 2 or 3 versions of myself. For a game that was in development for 6 years, I need a dozen pieces for everyone out the gate. This is honestly ridiculous. It's my biggest gripe with the game.
So as far as what you were describing, as far as that, as far as overall style pieces of armor, they're very limited. It's more of as you play, right, and you do the 3 factions and you're leveling up, you get more material and different things that you can customize your look. So, like, for instance, say you were trying to make that Iron Man look, right?
Yeah.
You can eventually get to the point, like, later on where you could have brass or tin or...
that stuff was in the beta. It was in the quote-unquote demo. It was in the demo, and it looked great. Here's the thing. I don't care. I want I want to look different. I feel unique. I don't feel different.
The other thing is the vinyls, I guess.
And the vinyls are neat too. But if you can't change your helmet beyond 2 or 3 helmets, that's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense.
That's fair.
Destiny never had a problem like that. That's not something that you. And I'm surprised it hasn't been. I'm surprised I haven't read a bunch of articles about that, because this is a game based around loot. I don't want the armor to have stats attached to it, but I need for there to be. This is worse than Injustice 2 overall. Like, because last time I was on was for Injustice 2. I really did enjoy that game in some aspects, but the gear system overall just ended up being a lie. They never patched it. They never added more gear. This is the same thing. I want visuals. I want a change.
Yeah,
and I know
BioWare's
likely. Huh?
The gear isn't about visual in this game. Instead of like
I'm
the
talking-
visual,
I'm
the
saying
visual parts, like it's instead of doing that, it's more about you have by the time you get to level 30, you have 6 components that you can equip.
No,
on,
I know
and
that
that's where the
yes,
you know,
I
the meat
understand
is.
that's where the meat is. I don't want to look like all the other Colossuses when I get to that point.
Yeah,
And I think it should be split. I don't think that you should make them customizable to that extent and then go, and y'all get 1 or 2 extra pieces that you can change. It should be half a dozen at least, but a dozen would be the healthy amount. For a game that's been in development for 6 years and watch games like Destiny and Division, Destiny had more customization among its
It had a ton of
Guardians
customization.
compared to this. And that, I remember my friend was like showing me stuff from Destiny compared to the Anthem demo. I was like, yeah, but we're just playing the demo and you're showing me stuff from 6 months after Destiny came out. And here I am. Like, if you look at Destiny 1 and compare the armor pieces you get in that to what you get in Anthem, just the visuals of it, it's kind of ridiculous. It just is.
What he's
it's
saying?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
You might be at a point in the game, Chris, where it's a little better. But what he's saying is very much true. As a hardcore Destiny gamer,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff I am
No,
noticing.
no. I know what they're doing. What they're doing is like, you know, if you go and look, basically the featured store resets every 4 days. And so it's like, okay, every 4 days, they're going to probably give you at least 1 skin of armor that's available for purchase, right? For one of the classes, if not 2. They're going to give you vinyls. They're going to give you some unique crafting thing for your suit that you can only buy in that period. And what's the idea? Well, you probably don't have the coin to buy them all at once, especially the higher tier ones. So what are you going to do? You're going to go to the store and you're going to spend money because you want that one thing that's available right now and you don't have the coin to do it. That's the goal.
I'm not going to get got in this March update. Excuse me. In this March update, I need them to add some real stuff to flesh that out. It is, as I just said, it's embarrassing. I would not want to work at a company where you're pitching customization and then go, by the way, you can only change your helmet to like 2 other helmets. You can only change your chest piece to like 2 other chest pieces. Sorry. Like that's it doesn't,
Right
it
now,
just
I can
doesn't
only
make any sense.
Right now, I can only change my helmet to one I can buy. There's not another one to even
Yeah,
equip.
same here. Yeah,
Actually, the one that's funny is when you end, like, still people really haven't been buying the emotes or anything like that yet. They're saving their cash.
Yeah.
So everyone pretty much when you complete a mission all does the boy band, like, put your arm out type thing. Arm of success.
You know, like you say, when you finish a mission, that ties into what I think is really good about Anthem,
Sure.
and that's the gunplay and the adventure that you have when you go on these story missions. I know Chris can talk about going on strongholds. I can't do that yet, but
Those are hard.
when you take that first leap, like John, when you first flew, that's a memorable moment in the game. And then you find yourself, you know, kind of going in this world to figure out, I need to go find this person or whatever objective you're doing. You meet your cast of enemies, you fight, you throw your specials out, you have your guns,
Your
combos, all that. Those are really part of what I consider the highlights of the game.
the mechanic of Spider-Man swinging through New York City has been matched, if not topped, has been matched by this game.
For sure.
I watched. Aiden was in the living room with me, and I said, "If not top, because I don't think it's topped up, but it's close. It's up there." When I leaped off the edge, Aiden was looking at the screen. I fired up the whatever
Your Iron Man thrusters.
my thrusters, and he looked at me with his jaw agape, like I didn't know that could be possible in a game. Because you know he plays Fortnite where you just
Hey,
plummeting to the earth.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Does Spider-Man ever run out of webbing?
No,
Yeah, actually.
I mean, he should.
No,
he does in the real world.
Yeah, but does he?
Well,
in
he
the
doesn't
video
exist
game?
in the real world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, in like the more
I'm just being
real
a jerk.
world comics
You
out
understand
there.
what I'm saying?
I do find it a little bit annoying that my propulsion runs out.
Yeah.
So I feel where you're coming from in
guess
that regard.
it's not a.
It's a balancing thing.
I'm thinking maybe it improves as you get.
No, it's
Wow.
I mean it's
that
a
hurts. That hurts.
No,
That
there
hurts.
are ways that you can increase the propulsion on your
yeah,
on
you
your
can
javelins.
you can do that, but really the idea behind it is that it's to differentiate the classes, right? Like mainly the Storm. The Storm has the one ability that no one else does, which is the ability to hover for an insanely long
That's
amount of
their
time.
run.
Yeah, like that's what
No.
they do.
You mean the hover and the actual hover?
Like, yeah, in
Not
the
the
air.
run hover,
And
okay.
like, even like now I've gotten a bunch of equipment where basically the stats on it all have like do an additional 200% damage while hovering, So it's like, it's obviously part of their build. So the way you have to compensate for that is you have to put, strangleholds on how often can people really fly. And really, when you're in the tight situations of combat, I find that it's not a problem. Like most people, like if they need to get out of harm's way, they can fly and get to somewhere and then drop down. It's more of like, I would say when you're flying in the open world and you're going somewhere that if you don't have a lot of water around, it's kind of like, gotta drop down and run for 5 seconds, and now boom, I'm taking off again. That's about the only time
It doesn't feel like a hindrance to me. I feel like you have no reason to land if you could just fly infinitely.
Sure.
My biggest gripe about flying is that it's not as stylish as it could be in some aspects. If I run and jump off of a cliff and the ground is so far below me that it's going to take me 8 seconds to hit it, my guy should nosedive. If I fly straight up into the sky and I'm coming down, my guy should nosedive when he gets to the peak and I kill my jets. The fact that they just kind of fall lifeless in a like stood up position, that's like my biggest thing about the flight. Other than that, I love it so
I wonder
much.
if that's just a Colossus.
No, it's all of them. They,
I didn't notice my guy
I
doing
think the
that.
Interceptor
probably-
might dive, but the rest of them, they just like I started with the Ranger. That's who I played most in the demo. They just cascade to
fall?
the ground.
If I had to guess, it's just, I mean, that would be a perfect thing to have in a game, but it's probably like, look, man,
A code to
we
write
got a
in
lot.
there.
We got a lot of things going on right now. We're just trying to get this thing to run.
So, Chris, when you started playing this game, you said this a few times. You said they're going for the Diablo feel, meaning it's all about the loot.
People are trying to compare this thing to Destiny, and it doesn't feel like Destiny to me because, like
That's
I said,
insane.
Destiny to me just feels like 3 people or 4 people together that, for the most part, have the same classes with a little bit of different tweaks. And like I said, you can all get the same guns. You're primarily all just shooting and pouring your stats into one thing. And then on the other side, you have this, which feels a lot more unique classes that, this thing is not working well. It's firing me.
We don't edit.
Yeah, this is just in it, dude.
This is what you get.
This is it. It's like he sounds good for a minute, but he refuses to go buy a new mic cord.
It's not the mic cord. It's this.
It's not the mic cord.
Yeah. I mean, like if I unplug Chris, I'm sure I would.
Nah,
It would automatically be.
so
fine.
we need a new soundboard.
Yeah, if you want to buy that.
How much are they?
they're not much. I go half with you.
Okay.
It's no
We'll
big.
get this
Back
done.
off.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like the 4 classes to me are very distinct, and they each have their pluses and their minuses, right? Like the Interceptor is deadly inside, but once it also doesn't have much health, so you pretty much always need to be moving and jumping and zipping around, trying to cut up people. The Ranger is kind of like the standard, hey, have a little bit of distance, but also can come in close combat. The Colossus, of course, is the tank.
A machine.
Yeah, that can just
bred
run around,
for war.
could just dominate and like really actually is the best
You
healer.
wrote that before you got here.
He's also really the best healer in the game because he has the ability to block like certain death projectiles while he runs around to pick other people up. And then finally you have the Storm, who's really designed to be above all the action and to cast projectiles down that like freeze people or whatever, and then set up these like he can do mob control really easily with his attacks.
Listen, here's a quick guide for anyone that's tried the Colossus and you didn't like them. Get a flamethrower, right? You
Yeah,
get
that's
your
fun.
flamethrower,
That's
you
fun.
light them up, and then you just melee them, and they explode. They just go kablooey. It's impossible because you get a combo off of your shield bash or your melee with the Colossus. So if I light them on fire and then I slam the ground, they just blow up, and it's extremely satisfying to light 8 people on fire, jump in the sky, and fist slam down on them, and then just watch them all die. I love the Colossus.
Yeah, I love the combos and ultimates from the Storm as well. They're pretty awesome. How they cycle through the different types of elements as you hit the trigger button, and it's very cool just to see that area of people just.
First lightning.
When you
and
say
then
trigger
it's,
button, you sound like someone who was told about video games.
Yeah, well, you know what you sound like? I can't say it because this is a clean podcast.
Is this clean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. You mother.
It's sanitized.
That seems accurate.
Yeah.
Except he said fisting earlier.
Whoa.
That's just a word.
It's just
Made
a
up word.
Just a word.
Oh, we can say words as long as they're contextless? Okay, give me just a minute.
Nope.
That's what she said.
But yeah, I think like that's where it feels distinctively different. Like in Destiny, it feels like you need to be good at shooting. Above all else, if you're not good at a first-person shooter, you're going to struggle with that game at times. Versus this, it feels like kind of a little bit, like I wouldn't say to the level of Overwatch, but like still, like someone like Chris, as he marked, like you can pick up, if you're the Colossus, you can just pick up that shield and run and like pretty much bash into whoever you want. You don't need to fire your gun that much outside of when you have your ultimate. If you play the Interceptor, you don't really need to shoot if you're really good at just getting in close and doing melee attacks. Like you could just do that and you'd be totally fine with what you're doing. And of course, I like the Storm because I almost never use my gun. I just look for the areas I need to go for,
Which is
and I
great
target.
because the guns in Anthem are boring and they
Yeah,
also need
yeah.
to be changed.
Well, see that.
Well, no, you haven't gone to endgame guns. The better guns, they don't come till very late.
I
And it's
believe
once
you.
you start to see that.
I believe you. The fact that I would have to put over a dozen, because I currently have like 20 hours in the game.
Yeah.
The fact that I would have to continually put more and more hours in the game to get a gun that's not boring is a little nuts.
But see, and that was my follow up to you comparing it to Diablo, because in that sense, Diablo from beginning to end is constantly rewarding you, giving you
Sure.
new stuff, giving
they
you
are
new
giving you-
visuals. But getting a weapon at the end of a mission and going, oh, that's level 10 instead of level 9. Yay! It still looks the same.
They're
And
not
then-
the same, though. Like
They have different stats and there's different damage.
No
I mean,
doubt.
I get all that.
I would say
but they
once
look
you-
the same,
No
Chris.
doubt.
Yeah, but once you get to like I would say level, it's kind of it's
But you
more
would-
like gear with level, right? Once you start getting your purples or even like some of your blues, and you start to see like, hey, you have a Warden Assault, and I just got a new Warden Assault, but this one gives me 20% speed on my L1 ability versus this, which just gives me more
But
ammo.
you would agree
like
that
that's where you get excited.
you would agree that someone who plays Diablo on the regular
Sure.
is equally invested with how aesthetically you look, as well as the weapons you have.
Yes, for endgame. Yes, for endgame.
It's mind blowing that
Yes.
Chris says this
No
game is
one-
more like Diablo versus Destiny. I'm still trying to
Chris
really
is not
fathom
alone
that.
in that. I do not think that this game is. I feel like it finds a happy medium in the two, which sounds like some centrist cop out stuff. But Destiny is its own game in the way that Destiny is very mediocre. I just mean like in everything but its gunplay. It's
Evolve sucks.
I mean, you can try and lash out to hurt me. I'm just trying to tell you the truth.
That's what I do.
Lash out to her.
No one plays Evolve anymore.
Yeah, they closed the servers. No one can play Evolve
Exactly,
anymore.
because it sucked.
Okay, so when it comes to Destiny, I got bored real quick, mostly because as we stated, and I will state again just to really beat a dead horse. In Destiny, you're the same guy in different armor with a different ultimate. In Anthem, you're not, and I feel like that is the. John, you made a face.
You're not the same guy.
No, I mean you're the same person in the suit, but the suits are so different. But
Okay,
if I'm
got
going to
it.
be a guardian,
Sorry about that.
and I'm a hunter, I'm going to be basically the same as all the other ones. And the gunplay is crisp in Destiny. It is
Yeah,
tight.
well, it's Bungie.
Which, yeah, it's like, okay, great. You guys did the thing that you do well. But Destiny failed to deliver on such a large front for what it promised, even more than what Anthem promised. And I guess my main point, because it's gotten away from me, is that Destiny is more of I feel like more of a standard looter shooter, like your Borderlands. And Anthem falls more in line with Diablo than it doesn't fall in line with Diablo. Because I do think Anthem's like Destiny, but I also think it's like Diablo in its combat ways and things like that, the different play styles. It's not as diverse as Diablo. As a guy who really only played Diablo 3, to be fair, it's not really as diverse as Diablo, but like it feels more satisfying to play to me the way Diablo feels. I mean,
It's
Like
like
playing Diablo
I
3
imagine
was very satisfying.
that's what I'm saying.
It was Loot City.
Yeah, but you're talking
I
about,
wish it was-
to be fair, you're also talking about Diablo 3 after when you started playing it, like after 4 years of it being refined.
That is my
I
perspective.
played it at
Yeah.
launch.
Okay.
I played it
Yeah.
at launch and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
People are babies.
On PC, it was very different. That first day was not fun. But anyways, like to me, it's more like Diablo in the sense of, especially now being in the end game, right? Like where you as a Storm, me personally, I've been using two things primarily, which are the Glacial Storm and then Burning Orb. I just like that combination because I pretty much never have to use my gun. But you as your Storm could set up a completely different combination and therefore end up playing your Storm in a very different way than I am playing it, where you are using your guns more.
A hunter, you would use your gun or your gun, and then every 8 minutes you use your ultimate. But you know that. You play Destiny.
The Titans still had different stuff than Hunters and different stuff than Warlock.
And
that's all I was implying.
And to be fair, like that's the way Diablo is. Like I can build a Necromancer and have 4 different types of Necromancer builds. You know, it doesn't have to be just this is the only way you can ever make a Necromancer. Versus that's kind of what Destiny, I think, more so feels like. It's just finding the guns with the one stat that you really want, right? Like that has the best stat that really complements your build.
Something important that I feel it hasn't happened yet, but I feel is important to mention for Anthem is that Anthem is not just going to be giving out the quality of life updates and making bug patches. Their DLC currently is set to a free model in general,
which is big.
Yeah, it's like a huge thing. This month we're getting an update that's going to introduce new stuff, introduce a new area, I believe potentially. I think they fact check me on that.
I want to say they have what they have more. They have new types of legendary contracts coming. They have. At some point in their first 90 days, they're releasing another Stronghold.
Yeah, this month. That Stronghold's coming this month. I think that's what I was referring to.
And then, like, at the end of this, they're teasing up that there's going to be a new Cataclysm, which is kind of like the big world event setting things that happen throughout, like the Heart of Rage or whatever, which is pretty much the main point of the story.
And you don't have to spend $20 or $40 to get it.
That is nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, I think, like, this is going to be a game, if it's done right over time, that unlike... Destiny wanted to be the game that basically said, this is your only game now. You don't need anything else. You just need to play Destiny 24/7, kind of like an MMO does,
people
right?
People hooked up to life support, drooling, everything going on upstairs.
The best thing that Anthem could do going forward is be the game that says, look, we understand that you're going to go play other things. You've got other priorities. But if you come back every 4 months and play a week or two with us, you will have plenty of content to enjoy at that time, and it won't feel like it takes you 3 years to catch up with everyone else where you just feel insignificant.
Do you have plenty of content to enjoy right now?
Sure. I feel like I'm 50 hours in, and I feel like it took me a good while to go through the story and all the side missions. I think I've just now to the point where I'm about to finish up all 3 faction stories, just because I've been doing other things.
Well, my perspective on these missions, which, just want to get everybody else's perspective on it. I've played like 6 hours of this game. I'm at level 8. So maybe it gets better over time.
Sure.
But I could not tell you, number one, what the story is and why anything matters in this game. And number 2, all the missions or bounties or whatever they're called, contracts that I've played, I can't distinguish between a single one. The only one that stands out is when the antagonist finally shows up, and that's the only part of the mission I remember. It is all in my head, the exact same thing. And I grant you, I've never played Destiny. I've never played Division. So my context for this stuff is different and it's new.
Are you talking about the antagonist that was kind of...
the Monitor?
The guy that looks like Shredder.
Yeah, he looks like Super Shredder.
So
that guy.
I love Ninja Turtles.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
All I've got going for me right now is the combat's fun.
Yeah.
Flying through the air is amazing. It feels great.
Yeah.
And being in this machine is truly satisfying.
Getting in the machine is awesome too, right?
Oh, I love getting inside that thing.
So good.
Anyway.
Claustrophobic.
Having said all that, is that going to be enough for a player to just look cool, feel cool, and play cool when all these missions so far,
if it's good,
they are muddled. Same.
Yeah.
They are the same.
So here's the thing: the game does a really bad job of differentiating between an agent mission, a contract mission, and a critical mission. Critical mission. I don't disagree. That's why I said it. The critical missions are they're the main story missions, the one that you play through that would include the antagonist.
Yeah.
And last night I was doing a mission right around where you stopped because I compared my status to yours just to make sure that I played more than you before I showed up here today. But I saw your achievement for the last chapter that you completed, the last main mission that you completed, and it took me 45 minutes to find that because there were 4 different contract missions or agent missions that were available to me, and I did some of them to see if that would move the story, and it didn't. Then I found out that the journal, because I forgot from when I first launched the game like 2 weeks ago, the journal is what has all your...
So you're saying it did tell you where it was?
So yeah. So, but you have to open the journal to see which mission you have to complete. So if you don't know what you're looking for, it is going to be a little more difficult. And if you're doing missions you don't have to do, it is going to get muddled in between what's actually important and what's not important. Like right now, I'm doing missions that, to me, don't feel integral to the story. I don't feel like they were tied in super well. When the antagonist shows up, it does tie you down and let you know this is what's happening. But I think
feel different.
I think when you're actually doing the critical missions, which is what I'm focusing on, I'm not really doing much side stuff right now. When you're actually doing the critical missions and you're like doing them back to back to back, I can follow the story. I can trace where I'm going, and I'm having a good time. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem because let's just pretend that I like Destiny for a second. Destiny's story in vanilla Destiny was awful and confusing.
Definitely
and
worse than that.
Really short and left a lot of unanswered questions to just such a huge extent. So I think if people can get over that, and let's just say I thought that story was just fine. If people can get past Destiny's story and see the game beyond,
they didn't though.
Yeah, they did because they kept playing.
Yeah,
they kept playing because of the in-game content. But
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's the same way with
they dismissed the story as okay, it's a piece of crap, but this in-game stuff because there's some loot. It's pretty cool.
That's literally what I'm saying.
Yeah, to be fair, like it's the same with like Diablo, with Warframe, with Division. I don't think people play these games necessarily for some. You're not playing for it to like get Witcher story or something or Zelda story, right? You're playing for it because you enjoy the gameplay and you enjoy the.
I don't quite agree with that.
This is Bioware.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Bioware.
No. Now that's the point.
That's
here.
an expectation that I had.
Yeah, but
despite what I just said, because I feel tied in because I am making sure that I'm doing the critical mission specifically. I'm loving the story so far. Yeah. It's not anything like Mass Effect 2 or 3, but I'm still really enjoying it and loving the characters that are popping up too.
It's a little bit of a love-hate thing. Like, look, yeah, if you're a BioWare fan, I don't think there's any doubt about this. Like, between all the things that Edmonton BioWare has done, is easily the weakest story they've ever put out. But at the same time, it's not an RPG. It doesn't have anywhere near the interaction that all those other games that have, the ability to build connections that are very meaningful and personal, that they all do. So if that's what you come to play this game for, you will be let down. I'll just go ahead and say that. But on the other hand, when you compare it to, say, Diablo, Destiny, whatever, I think if you explore the world and you talk to these characters, as far as like going back to Fort Tarsus and talking to everyone and like getting a perspective, it's way more fleshed out than any of the other ones.
But I'm doing all that.
Yeah.
And it's all muddled together. You see, I didn't say that
I'm on the same boat as John.
I didn't say that the story was good or bad.
Yeah.
No.
Diablo, the story's not great, but I wasn't confused by the story.
I guess I'm not.
Look, call me later,
I'm just
and
not confused.
I'll talk you through it. Yeah. Not to be insulting. I'll talk you through up to where you are, and then I'll send you a link to the list of story missions. So then you know you're only doing the critical missions, and you'll know. Oh, this.
Yeah, but I want BioWare to do the part with. Job. I don't want my friends to do that for me. I think my expectation is the game needs to do it.
See, I guess I felt like they do it, and I know I'm further than you. Like, for instance, like
rub it in our face.
Everything connects back like to the opening mission, right? Like we go through this opening mission, we are introduced to Haddock and all that kind of stuff with who's the I cannot remember. Faye, thank you.
Faye, the Heart of Rage.
All this, yeah. You go through this traumatic experience and you come back and you kind of like at first it's like, okay, look, I gotta get my feet together. I gotta, make a name for myself. That seems to be what the point is, and you finally get your opportunity to do so. But as you get to the middle of the story, it's like, okay, all those characters, along with some of the new people that we've met since that event, how does this all fit in? Right. How did this event change them and all that? And when you get to that part of the story, I think, especially Haddock, that's like the best storyline, I think, in the game.
There's no
but in the beginning, I'm still going like, so what happened? Why are we here?
Basically,
what is an anthem?
Anthem? Anthem is the song of creation.
Hypothetically. I'm just rhetorically, rather.
I think you mean cataclysm.
Maybe.
But yeah, for the most part,
Fun game, though. It's fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun. But look, the part that needs to be talked about that is an issue, and I think is the number one thing that holds it back is technical problems, man. Like
Technical problems, needs more strongholds, needs more armor.
Strongholds,
Three-
I'm fine. Like
Three
three
strongholds at launch after 6 years
Have
of
you
development.
done a stronghold yet?
Yes, I have.
like on the hard difficulties. That
Yes,
takes-
I have. And look, doing it on the hard difficulties, I'm not saying it doesn't
Yeah.
take a lot. I'm not saying it's not
It takes an
satisfying or
hour.
rewarding. Yeah, an hour. That's 3 hours. I don't understand. And for a game that's been in development for so long that is you're developing an instance, a 1 hour instance, there should have been 5 or 6.
They aren't instances to me. They're more like dungeons to me. And like I think of like old school WoW dungeons in the sense of they are not 15-minute endeavors. You know, they are you.
Let it be an hour.
It's a
endeavor.
lot.
Three is not that many. It's just not that
because
many.
that's. But then to me, for launch, it's fine. Like if they have 3 in a year from now, that's where I'd be like, okay, man, come on. But like for 3 for launch, I'm like, okay, here's 3. You know, that's basically what you get whenever you get an expansion for WoW. You know this, Sean. Like you get about 3 new dungeons, and then over time you get more. So as long as they're releasing new ones, say every 2 months, like you get a new stronghold, they'll be fine. Because then all of a sudden they'll have 7 or 8. I think the bigger problem with the strongholds is that there's no incentive to do random ones. So people, for the most part, as endgame, are picking the very first one to get introduced to because it's the fastest rotation they can do to get loot. You know, to get that end game grind going on. And you don't want that. You want people to basically say, hey, there's an incentive for me to go do random sevs, because then if people are out there trying to complete certain quests, they have the ability to find people to party up with.
Yeah.
But technical issues, yeah. I mean, like, there was the very final mission of the story. We were all together going through, and we get to fight a Titan into it. That's not really that big of a spoiler, but yeah, there's a Titan.
Kind of a
enemy.
spoiler.
You know, look, you'll see plenty of them. Okay,
Burn 'em
you'll be
alive.
fine. Yeah.
Another spoiler. 2 spoilers. It's fine.
But anyways, we're going in, and we almost get them, but we all wipe, right? And I go back, load in, and we start fighting again. And one of us goes down, and we go to pick him up, except we can't pick him up. And then another one goes down, can't pick him up. And next thing you know, we all wipe because no one can pick up someone when they're down.
And you're supposed to be able to do that.
And then we
Yeah.
load back in, and the exact same thing happens again. So then we're like, well, maybe we just had a bad setup. It's pretty early in the run, so we were like, okay, we'll just restart. And we go in, and again, we don't beat him the first time, and we load back in to go again. And sure enough, again, I can't pick Jeff up. Jeff can't pick up Kevin.
Maybe you should
know,
just get good.
Yeah, that is the motto.
That's mixed with people not being able to play the story properly together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mixed with issues of people not being able to actually load into the game, which I could not do the first day or so that the game
I
was
didn't have a
out.
problem with that.
And I'd also just like to call attention to something else. This is from a mission. It's not a spoiler so much. It's just a small aspect of something you have to complete. There's some prerequisites on a mission that you have to complete. It's required to do it in free play. You have to do this.
The worst part of this game.
You have to do a mission that requires you to revive 4 teammates within the free play that you're doing. And I was playing last night at 4:00 in the morning. There was no one in my free play session. So then I had to quit my free play session, relaunch into my free play session solo, and then message a stranger that was in there and say, hey, can you die for me 3 times so I can pick you up? Because they say strong alone, strong together. They say you can play any aspect of the game you want by yourself. But honestly, you really can't. I have to message a stranger. I spent 3 hours doing this one mission because I had to complete all these different crazy tasks.
And you can't
the
move
last
on.
one,
The
the
fact
last
that-
one, you just can't move on.
The
until
fact that you
realize-
can't find somebody at 4 a.m, honestly, that's not a good sign.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that no one was online.
No,
it was that
no.
my server specifically, there were people and they were gone. It's
Yeah.
something to do with my specific server.
Okay, so when you go into free play, no matter how it is, like how many people are actually in your party, there will only be 4 javelins on the map, right? The kicker though is that like say us 3 are together in a party and we go into free play together. So obviously I could see where you are. I can see where you are. You can see where I am. I have at least an idea. But if Chris is off on our map playing by himself, unless I actually open the map and like search, I can't even have an idea of where he is. And then there's really no easy way to ping him or tell him something outside of what he's talking about, like actually pulling up and going like, hey, can you do this for me? Or
Hey,
like,
can you
so,
die?
So
I
like,
messaged this guy. I messaged a
You
couple.
want to die?
I messaged a couple of guys, and the last guy I messaged, I said, hey, can you help me? I need to revive someone 3 times. And he said, I need to revive one person. And I said, let me die for you, bro. And I died. He picked me up, and then he died 3 times, and I picked him up. And that's a ridiculous stat to put in a mission. It's a ridiculous stat to put in a mission in a game where you say you can play alone. Now I'm forced to revive people, and it just is adding such a long. It was like over an hour of time just trying to get this one specific thing done because I had to find someone who was willing to basically trust me to not just leave them where they were
Chris,
after they got shot down.
I would die for you.
I appreciate that. Next time I might get a mission like that at 4 a.m, I would just give you a ring.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think
I'm logging on, bro. I got you.
John, it's emergency. I need your help.
got you,
Chris.
bro.
I'm putting my shoes on right now. What do you need? Oh, you can take your shoes off. I just need you to come die for me on Anthem.
while
Sorry.
I like the free play to some extent, it's definitely the part of the game that to me needs the most work. Like it needs to be polished. It needs to like for instance, I should be able to ping things on the map. If like Sean all of a sudden sees a Titan out in the middle of the world, he should be able to ping right there. Hey, there's a huge freaking enemy, and whether I'm partied up with him or not, if I'm on that same server, right, I should get a ping that says, "Hey,
Titan in the
has
area."
been seen."
I think your mic is going out.
Yeah, no.
Again.
Yeah, I feel like pinging the terrain should be yellow and pinging an enemy should be red.
There we go.
And where did I hear that from? I saw pinging in a game like that before. Oh, it was Evolve. Evolve had pinging. 2015.
Hey, it had a great pinging
Bringing
system.
it back.
But yeah.
Oh, as far as glitches go, I had a crazy one last night. You know the wailing long noise a speaker makes when it pops? Pretty much that.
That one?
Yeah.
There was that noise of the popping, and my sound went out, and all I heard was the.
Oh, I had one like that too, except it was just the constant popping.
It didn't pop. That noise.
What is that?
I don't know what
It's a
what
sound
happened,
bug.
but the
Boo,
audio
sound
went out,
bugs.
the voices went out, and I had to mute my mission until it was over because it never stopped.
Yeah.
I had to
It's-
quit
it
my
was
build
pretty-
and start
it
all
was
the
just
way
like,
over.
God.
Those are issues you guys had on Xbox.
Oh no, there are plenty of issues on
Anthem
PlayStation.
killed the PlayStation 4 today, so
Yeah.
I read a news article that said that a PlayStation 4 just died. It won't come back.
Yeah, those people. I will say this: those
So I guess
people.
go ahead and play some more. Gamble, fool.
I will say, yeah, that was kind of not right. Like those people just don't understand how it works. Like the PlayStation will, if it gets too hot, it recycles, right? Automatically forces you to basically do a reboot and rebuild, which isn't a big deal versus like the Xbox. Xbox is a lot more worrisome when that happens. But on the other hand, the fact that every single one in my crew has had that happen to them, that's the
Shows
concerning
that the
part.
PS4 is like poorly designed and overheats too easily.
Maybe I don't know.
No, I'm just
It does. It
No, it's
does sound
possible.
like a
Because Call of Duty, the most recent Call of Duty, also had issues where
When you say
Yeah.
Call of Duty, it sounds like Call of Duty.
that's what I do.
patootie.
Same issue though. People stuff freezing up and reboots.
But there's part of me that just wonders. I think the biggest problem with this game, and like when you look at EA, as far as a company, like because this still all in the end to me comes back on them.
Of course
It's
it
like-
does.
It does.
No Bungie, right?
Tell me, was the last thing that EA
I
made?
can't listen to you right now.
Was the biggest thing that EA has personally developed from the ground up that wasn't just some small game, but was a triple A game that they actually were the ones who set the tone for? Like, I don't know what it is because, for
Would that be
instance,
Titanfall 2?
no, Titanfall 2 was still Respawn was independent when they started working
Is
on that.
Bioware not independent? Are they in EA right now? Like,
They are, and that's probably like so. Mass Effect 3, like
Mass Effect 3
even
is so
even when you go to Battlefield 1, right? They did not want them to make that game. They secretly had to go make the beta version of that game and take it up to them and say, "See, this would work." And they finally said, "Okay, I believe in this."
I think EA, for 1,000 different reasons, is the easy target here.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you have to hold a developer accountable when you are in development
I
for
agree.
6 years. BioWare is not without fault here.
Thank you.
It's
John.
definitely
BioWare.
it's
And
definitely not the same.
you have
studio.
said on many occasions that nobody tells BioWare what to do.
I'd like to believe
that they have built such a reputation.
I know I said it, and I'd like to believe it.
I'd like to believe it, but look, I'll say this. I think there definitely was probably a conversation of like, hey, we need a shared, loot shooter.
And
we need a Destiny.
If I'm EA and you have spent 6 years on a game, I'm going to say you need to release this thing.
I think that's the difference,
6
though.
years.
Like the difference is that you think of something like Nintendo, Ubisoft, not always Ubisoft, but a lot of times Ubisoft. Definitely PlayStation. I mean, PlayStation worked on Last Guardian for how long? Until they finally put that sucker out? How long did they work on God of War? About 4 or 5 years. 6 years is a while, but when you say conceptual...
4 or 5 years
It's
for
not
God of
just a
War, Game of the Year.
Yeah,
It's
God
not
of War
just
was
a while,
awesome.
though. It's not just a while. It's the longer side of development. 4 or 5 years was a lot of time. 6 years is even more. And we're not talking about a game that's near perfect with some glaring issues.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about a messy game with some glaring issues. A messy game that I don't think... if I had a father, he would love me, but he would be disappointed in me. That's how I feel about Anthem.
I would say, look,
That's actually
the big
quite
thing...
astute.
The
Yeah,
big
I
thing
like
that
that.
says a lot to me is like you got done with Mass Effect 3 and you made Dragon Age Inquisition, right? And then starting around that time period was when pretty much the majority of the core leadership for Bioware that had been around forever started jettisoning from the company, started leaving. And that's what makes you worry about because the same thing has happened with people like Visceral. It's happened with DICE. It's happened with just about every major acquisition that they've picked up through the years. So you go, okay, the best thing that's happened to that studio since that game has happened is that at the very least they got Casey Hudson to come back. But Casey Hudson went from being a guy who managed your games to now he's managing the whole entire freaking company instead of having the two guys that built and had the oversight to build like all these great franchises for you for the last 20 years.
Look, I hear you. I
Yeah.
do. But I think EA's circumstances over the past 3 years are making the BioWare fanboys and apologists thankful because they have somebody else to blame. They're baby BioWare. They're the ones that are victims here. And I think BioWare has everything as I just don't buy
That's like
6
with-
years of development and this is what you give us, particularly when Division came out, lessons learned, Destiny 1 and 2 came out, lessons learned.
But what's the difference?
When is somebody, you tell me, when you played Destiny right off the jump, a lot of the things you were critical of Destiny are, it seems like are being overlooked here.
I'm not critical in the sense like, look, the best thing that's compared to Destiny in this is that I don't just walk around with a little robot who tells me things that I really have no context for. That was the worst part of Destiny to me. And like everyone apparently is the same thing versus this. It's like, look, you're a freelancer. You're one of many. And you went through this bad thing.
Well, this is...
But as far as like the big difference between those, like when you talk about Destiny and Division, those companies make these kind of games. BioWare is an RPG studio. That has always been what they are. Yes, they have guns in some of them, but now you're asking for them to go from this thing that they are really great at, storytelling.
We didn't
games,
ask them to do that.
and all of a sudden make something completely different where it's not really about story first and foremost. It's about gameplay and loot systems.
But it sounds like they
and
wanted
online.
this.
Yeah, we didn't ask them
I
to
don't
do
think
that.
so.
From what
I think
I've seen, they came up with this idea in house. This was something they built for themselves.
I'm willing to bet that as far as the idea of a shared world loot shooter, and of course this is only speculation, I can't prove this, that came down from the top from EA. Like they wanted that because they looked over at Destiny and said, cash cow, we need that.
We need
cash
that.
cow.
Bioware, can you do it? Bioware goes,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Give us
sure.
6 years and we'll be all right ish when it comes out.
But to me, like I said, my point being is that the best things that have come out of EA that aren't just like some small pickups. I will give them credit on that. Like that's where they do good jobs is partnering with small upcoming studios to do artistic games. They do pretty well with that. But when it comes to the major stuff, they just haven't shown a great ability to manage all their studios. So when BioWare fails, then I go like, well, now you've ruined that. Like you've already ruined Visceral. You pretty much are on the way to ruining DICE. You've ruined Madden, which used to be the top American sports game. You ruined NBA 2K. You ruined EA Big that made all these great over the top sports games. What's next? Like, what do you have left until you start to go, maybe we should reconsider how we handle our star studios and and what we make them work on and how we let them develop things.
I've got insider knowledge. It says EA is actually a man, and he is intentionally killing all the games that they make.
That'd be funny.
But I feel like the EA Bioware thing is just like the Activision Blizzard or Activision Bungie thing. Bungie's free now. Bungie's finally on their own. They finally broke away. And like you said, that you think that the apologists are going, "Oh, this isn't Bioware's fault. This is EA's fault." I'm ecstatic to see what Bungie does next, because there's like inside knowledge that the people over at Bungie didn't want to make big sweeping expansions for Destiny.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that.
They wanted to trickle out the DLC. Bungie was strangling themselves. They were strangling themselves. And then you read the comments for that article saying that they left Activision, and everyone's like, finally they're free. Finally, Activision's not in control of them anymore. It's like, yeah, finally they get to just make a game and not have to support it. Like, that's what they didn't want to do that. They're the one that released those games in the state that they released them in.
I will say the bigger judge for BioWare going up is like, we know that they've already teased up a Dragon Age game. We know that's coming probably
with
some point.
Flight and an Anthem of Creation.
No, I have no idea what's going to be in it. But like, if that comes out and that flops, like that doesn't hold together, then you just go, God, is BioWare broken in general, right? And it needs to be shuttered. It's going to take
another disappointment to determine if it's BioWare's fault.
Well, because like no one puts Mass Effect Andromeda on them because they didn't make that game. That's not
Mass
them.
Effect Andromeda is overhated anyway. So.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's an all right game that just has some bad facial animations. That's about the worst part of it.
People could meme it.
Yeah.
Is this a sleepover podcast? I don't know how are we going to be? Are we going to be here?
We've gone a little long on the topic.
But anyways, yeah, let's
that's probably fine.
Let's go and give some Richards here. John, I know you're early.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
One, because this is not my genre. I'm dabbling. I'm dipping my toe in it. I can say I'm having a great time.
Mm-hmm. John?
I'm not scared to give a Richard, John.
He's a man.
Fear was my motivation.
A fear, Richard.
You will know fear.
I don't know if I'm enjoying this as much as I enjoyed Destiny Vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Destiny Vanilla from the beginning until I realized what it was, of course.
Like a person who enters a relationship
until you realize, like, them. I have to do this much.
Oh, wait, this happens?
Until you said, like, I have to do this much just to freaking go into a raid.
Yeah,
that was the part that sucked of that game. So terrible.
I'm comfortable. A lot of the Metacritic, I think you said, was at 60-ish. Mm-hmm. That would be like a 6 for us. I think it's better than a 6. Mm-hmm. I think it's closer to maybe an 8. Maybe a 7.5, maybe 7.5-ish, 8-ish, somewhere in that from where I'm at now. I do want to see how that changes when I get to it in game, and kind of see where it's at. But there is something to be said about when you are fighting the enemies and you are on those missions and you are flying around, and you do have the interaction with people at the fort and things of that nature. It's a fun experience. Like John said, I'm having a good time playing it now.
Sure.
Having a good time.
Right.
So yeah. I'm not sure what a Richard is. Having been the
basically
sole creator,
it's our score system.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
This is not games and games anymore.
So as the sole creator of the show who walked away, I don't really like to look back. Yeah. I don't really like to look back, so I don't listen to you guys.
That's
exactly.
fine.
You rolled in like you own the place for sure.
What's this?
I appreciate that. So
sole creator, huh?
When it comes to
look at that. And there goes the mic.
When it comes to Anthem, I got to be honest, 6.5, I'm happy with that. I feel like the rating system when it comes to games and movies gets so far away from the fact that 5 is average that it needs to just really be reined back in. So I'd say with 5 being an average, I'd say Anthem's a 6 to 6.5 with great potential to grow from this point because of free DLC, free actual full updates that can make the whole game a new experience. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 Richards. The average, the American male average.
He's a good old friend of the show, Jeff, on his rating scale, ain't he?
Right.
That's fair, though.
Except you can, instead of calling me friend of the show, Jeff, just call me creator of the series, Chris.
Well, Jeff gave a 6 to a 10.
Tony.
Yeah. Jeff did give a 6 on a 10.
Yeah.
He didn't do that.
What's a 6 on a 10?
The game was a 10. He gave it a 6.
What was the game?
Resident Evil Remake.
I haven't played that yet, but I really want to.
Oh, God.
It's a 10?
Oh,
a lot of people are saying it's a 10.
It's not a 10.
It is a 10.
Except for Chris and Jeff. They gave it 6s.
Is Jeff also an SJW?
No, I gave it an 8, I think. So I didn't hate it.
I'm excited. See, this is the great thing about
I just didn't put Richard in my mouth like some people at this table. See, now you know,
After we just got done talking about Bioware.
right? Yeah, let me put this now. Look, in a perfect world, I'd love to be able to give this game like a 9, because I do love Bioware. But at the same time, like to act like it's a perfect game right now or that it doesn't have issues is kind of just ignorant to me.
Do it.
So, I mean, I'm just going to say for now, I think, if it fixes things and it keeps the patches that they put out the last couple of weeks, or the last 2 weeks, I've been like, okay, they're listening. They're doing the things that people want.
That's something we didn't talk about very much, is that they're actually making efforts to fix these issues.
Yeah,
they
especially
haven't
the
just
loot.
turned on the game, and they're not like going, like it's not falling on deaf ears. The developers really are trying to listen to people when they say, this is what we want.
Yeah, so if they keep doing that and, they innovate, cool. But until the technical problems get fixed, it's kind of hard to say that this could be an 8.5 or a 9, right? So I would say 7 or 7.5. Take your pick on that. I do think, like, the idea this is the worst thing ever or whatever, like, this isn't like Metal Gear freaking Survive or whatever last year, it's not like that. But it definitely doesn't help to Bioware's credit that, again, like, they're an EA game. So, if things go bad, guess what? You're going to get the full brunt. There's not going to be people who hold back against you.
And Battlefront 2 is really fun now, so maybe in a year, Anthem will also be
Battlefront 2's campaign was terrible.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that. I didn't play that.
Yeah.
I just played the online modes.
But anyways, you guys want to do some news?
Please.
Sure.
Woo.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
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 Y'all are terrible.
Welcome back to the podcast where
Something
we compete
happened.
to peak the mics the
No,
most.
I didn't know that my mic twiveled and
Twivel.
Is that a word?
it twiveled and Chris just counted down fast and
I don't think there's a podcast on Earth where people touch the microphones as much as you guys touch the microphones. This is like the weird grabby ASMR. People are loving this, I'm
Chris,
sure.
it's good to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get out.
and by good to have you, he means.
I feel like because the podcast is in here and I created that I kind of like own the space that we're in until we're done.
We can tell.
recording.
You didn't create it. You didn't create it here.
Huh?
You didn't create it
Yeah,
here.
I got brought here.
You created it in your hot box.
Hey,
Actually-
man, sweat lodges. That's where people get their best ideas.
But where was the first
Idiot.
episode of Games and Games recorded?
In Tony's place?
Yeah, exactly.
We had
Who
Tony on.
edited the first episode?
I don't know.
Tony.
Okay.
Who made the theme song?
Look, who edited the most recent episode? No one, because there's no editing on this show, according
do
to what you
edit.
guys keep saying.
It's true. Hey, John, you lead off, and I'll do the gold stuff, and we'll just go from there.
Excellent.
All right, let's do
All right.
this.
Evo moves on from Melee. The Evolution Championship Series has released the lineup for this year. In regards to Smash Bros., Super Smash Bros. Melee did not make the cut. The classic GameCube game has been part of the lineup for over 10 years. The title has been replaced by Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is a huge deal for those who've considered Melee to be the definitive title for competitive fighting.
I know nothing about what you just said.
So basically, Evo's like the world's biggest fighting game tournament where they have different kinds of fighting games. Smash Brothers Melee is just such a huge deal to the fighting community, specifically when it comes to Smash Brothers as a whole. It's just the most popular game. People still play it
Competitively.
all the time. They play it on their PC to practice for whatever reason. But now that that's gone, it's like an upset. It's like they took a classic Street Fighter game, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to have this anymore.
Well, I took it to mean that this has now become the acceptable,
Yeah, that's how I took it.
replacement for Melee. This game has finally come. I mean,
I wanted to look
Sakurai
into
was
that
actually,
more.
I read today Sakurai was actually on IVs when he was developing this game, so he was committed to making this as the ongoing replacement for Melee. And I
had a
took
chance
this to mean that the Evo community now recognizes it as such.
That's what I'm hoping. When I read, oh no, I wonder what those people are going to do. Because some of them, I'm sure, let's say that's true, that Ultimate is just the next step and is better than Melee. A lot of those people don't care about that. They're just stuck on what they're doing and don't want
That's
to
true.
move on from it.
That's true.
But I played a little bit of Ultimate, and it is mega fun.
Yeah,
We played a little bit of it too. It was all right.
every
But
time.
what'd you play it on?
A Switch at someone's home.
Okay.
Every time I go online on the Switch, I see Andrew on it playing Smash.
Smash Bros.
I'd probably still thrash all
So
of you.
He likes to smash.
Probably. The Evo Championship, like the All Valley Championship with Karate Kid.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I'm in. March 2019 PS Plus. Your games will be Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, which is actually not bad. And Chris's favorite puzzle game ever, The Witness.
Yeah.
Both will be available between March 5th and April 1st. If you're wondering about games with gold for March, that will be Adventure Time, Pirates of the Enchiridion.
Nice.
Nice. Appreciate that.
I'm gonna download that game.
That's dope. And that's available March 1 through 31 or March 1st through 31st for non-stupid people like me for Xbox One. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. That's going to be March 16th through April 5th. April.
I'm getting that.
Really?
Should have been games with gold a year ago.
April 15th. Star Wars Republic Commando. That's March 1st through 15th. And Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. March 16th through
That's not a real game.
You know why it probably wasn't a year ago?
Why?
EA Access.
Yeah.
Because it's
Probably
on
was a
there.
thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that's dope. So other than the Adventure Time game, any other ones you're excited about for free?
I'm going to download 3 of those 4 games. Everything but the one that you made up at the end about Metal Gear Solid. Revengeance is not a word.
What's it called?
Metal Gear Rising Revenge?
Everybody
I don't know.
knows that.
That's fun. That's Platinum Games.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It's where you play as Raiden and you just have a sword and you slice everything that's in
Okay,
front
that's
of you.
fair.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Kojima makes up words.
He definitely does.
All words are made
Like his own name.
But in particular, did Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered have its campaign, or did they skip the campaign?
I can't remember.
I don't remember because when I played it, it was just I logged on to play the online with my brother.
Yeah,
was
I would snatch that if it had the campaign on it. So
I might finally play The Witness.
I bought the Witness.
You should.
Yeah, Chris spoke highly of it, so
My
I don't
wife,
remember doing that.
My wife wanted the Witness.
it's awesome to have 2 Chris's on one show because
It's not funny. This is the worst bit is where I go, well, our names are the same. That's the
Die?
worst. It's the worst bit.
All right, John.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the news. Next bullet.
In a year that is finding many game publishers dropping out of E3, Cyberpunk 2077 is showing up. The game's Twitter account made it perfectly clear. For those of you asking, yes, we will be at E3 this year.
Why are the Polish people British, by the way?
I don't know. It just
Why are they Dr. Seuss? Yes, we will be at E3 this year.
The less crowded space could be seen as a good thing, giving CD Projekt Red more of a spotlight. Chris is the douche.
I don't think they need more of a spotlight for this game. People just want to see it. People just want to see it. Am I wrong?
I am
don't
hoping
care.
the game's good because right now, much like John, I don't care.
Not right now.
I don't care.
Chris does.
It's
Oh,
too
I
many.
very much care.
I want it to be good, and I've got like a treasure trove of hype hidden somewhere. I didn't bring it with me today, but right now I don't care.
Yeah.
I want it to be good, but if it's not, I don't feel the urge to buy it at this point. It being first person is a really big drag on me. I love third person games, and
I do too.
especially if it's a storytelling game and I've got to be first person. Ugh.
Matter of fact, going back to Anthem, I think I like the third person in my javelin suit better than the first person walking around the fort stuff.
That is a weird
Thing. It's weird.
contradiction. I don't know why they did
So,
it
Chris,
that way.
could you move the news articles up? Getting ready for the next article. That'd be fantastic.
Oh wait, can I say something really quick about E3 and the all that stuff?
Of course.
Please do.
So, at first, my reaction to that is like all the TV networks trying to create their own online streaming service, which a lot of people have problems with. I think it's fine. I won't get into that. But I think that's good in the way that it gives maybe not Nintendo because I don't really understand how they do their E3, but Sony and Microsoft such a big platform to go, this is what we're doing. These are our exclusives. These are other things that we're having developed by other developers. And then you have the other offshoots where it's like how Bethesda, when they announced Fallout 4, did it at their own event. I think that that's interesting. I think it's neat, and it creates without this, there are smaller games that would not get to appear at E3 or appear at these conferences held by other developers. So I think it's good, and I think that diversity and options are always going to be better than E3 having a monopoly on the biggest time of year to release game information.
A lot of what you said has some truth in it for sure. We've talked about how we're kind of sad that the E3 that we knew growing up is not going to be the E3 that we knew anymore.
That's fair. And because of that sincereness, I
Yeah.
won't take a shot at you for your age. Next news bullet
Hey,
point.
That's my turn. And your beard looks immaculate. Keep
Thank
it going. Sean needs to join the 10 million Horizon Zero Dawn, which just celebrated its second anniversary just days ago, has officially sold, quote, well over, end quote, 10 million copies. Guerrilla Games managing director Herman Holst,
I love that name.
I do too,
Holst.
Herman Holst, revealed, quote, the idea that we were able to bring, is her name Aloy? I don't know, guys.
Aloy.
Aloy's journey to so many
You
players.
said Aloy?
Aloy. Yeah, that's how I haven't played it yet. I don't know. It's a thing on the show that
I can tell from the thing that
Yeah, I haven't played it.
that you haven't played it.
Yeah, we brought her journey to so many players is astounding. We've been deeply moved by the enormous amount of fan creations you posted online, as well as the heartfelt letters you've sent, sharing your favorite moments from Aloy's journey.
Aloy?
Aloy's journey. I really need to play the game. That's an end quote. As of now, Sean has yet to play this game that he is still in the cellophane that John calls PlayStation 4's best exclusive.
Which John said that?
This John.
This John.
You said that?
Yeah.
But the game, it's a woman. You know that's a woman.
What is he doing?
What's he doing?
I don't know what he did.
Oh, he's implying.
I'm implying that you hate women.
That's
Chris is an SJW. You hate women. Sean's a DJ. Your worst qualities.
Sean's a DJ.
Just let it marinate. That was an excellent line. What I do love about that, Chris, is he can dish it and he can take it, and that's all that matters,
he
right?
can't take it.
I'm very sensitive. Please. I'm only going to be here one day. Don't bully me.
So Halo Infinite gets spiritual. IGN's Ryan McCaffrey recently sat down with 343 boss Bonnie Ross.
Did you do that?
Ronnie
Did you do it on
Boss.
purpose? Because that is fantastic.
I did. In that interview, she revealed that Halo Infinite will be a spiritual reboot for the franchise. Quote, there has been a lot of introspective time to really reflect on what we have done as 343. We have made mistakes. Where have we made mistakes? Where have we hit it right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh.
What does Halo mean to all of us? That Halo Infinite reveal trailer we did is what Halo means to the studio. Maybe it took us 2 games to get there, and I think we've done good things, but what does Halo mean to us? It is about hope and wonder and heroism and humanity and community and bringing a community together. That's what the trailer is, and that's what we want to do. And she's referring to the trailer from E3 last year. Where it
From
appears
so long ago.
It's also about apparently making a whole new engine for Halo.
It was almost
called
a year
Slipstream.
ago at this point.
Slipstream sounds like a great name for an engine.
Right. Especially for
doesn't
them.
But
So-
let's consider what the trailer was. It appeared to be more of an open world, a shared world. That's what I
Did it?
Come on, Roach.
It looked like it to me, because at the end of it, you see Master Chief's helmet, or at least a Spartan's helmet, looking down on a group of people traversing the world. It led me to the disappointing assumption that Halo Master Chief would not be in the game as the playable protagonist.
That would be fine with me. He's had enough of the spotlight.
You shut your mouth.
I love Master Chief just as much as the next guy that loves Mountain Dew. But my thing is, what I love about this is that she says,
No one loves Mountain Dew.
"Where have we made mistakes?"
That's the point, I think.
No one.
Maybe it took us 2 games to get it together, or to get there. 2 games to get there. I like that they admit that there's problems with 4 and 5.
I think there was 0 problems before.
I think they both have
You had
issues.
issues with
And
5,
like
though, right?
even then, like she admitted in there that like after they made 4, they'd actually promised the developers or the team, right, that they could build a new engine. And they didn't, because basically they just kind of decided, look, we need this out in 3 years, and there's no way that we would be able to do that if we stop now and make an engine. So after they put out 5, they basically held her to it. And to her credit, she went back and said, okay, yes. And they basically said there was a lot of stuff that they had ideas for Halo 5 that they just could not do, because basically they were working on technology that was designed, 20 years ago. And they had patched and updated so much. And
I like 4 and
weren't done.
5. I'm just really hoping that this is the one that pulls Halo back to. I don't need it to be top dog, especially now that they've
It'll never
announced
be
that
top
they're-
dog again.
And now that they've announced that there's not going to be a battle royale mode, which I think is just ridiculous and moronic. But the fact that that's not going to be there, I know it's not going to be top dog, but I want it to be something that people go like Titanfall 2. The story for Titanfall 2 was just great.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
just so good, and the gameplay. And I want Halo to have at least one more game where everyone can go, Yeah, that's a great Halo game that everyone enjoys. Everyone should give a shot. And Halo 4 and 5 are great for Halo fans. But Halo 5 is the only Halo game I never beat. I never beat it.
Halo 5?
Yeah, I don't really have any interest
The
in it.
game's 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and I couldn't
Sorry,
suffer
5
through
hours long. Did I say 10 minutes? I meant 5 hours.
Couldn't suffer through
It's
it.
about 7 hours.
Shortest game ever.
Of all time, even.
Right.
If you missed the most recent Nintendo Direct, guess what was announced? Pokemon Sword and Shield. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have announced Pokemon Sword and Shield for 2019. The first footage reveals that the game will take place in the, is it Galar?
Go with it.
Yeah,
Galar.
the Galar region. We also got to see the new grass, fire, and water starters, the chimp Pokemon Grookey, the rabbit Scorbunny, and water lizard Sobble. The trailer showed battles, beautiful backdrops, and weather effects. It was a, about a 20 minutes?
It was about 7 minutes, actually.
Probably biased, but
What did I watch?
Was it 30 or 45 minutes?
What the hell did I watch?
I think you watched the Cyberpunk video where they released that 48 minute.
I definitely watched the Pokemon, because then all the remarks on YouTube were really funny because they put words together of like salt and pepper, the next Pokemon and stuff like that,
Nice.
which is probably jokes that have probably happened before. with
Oil and
Pokemon.
water.
Yeah, things like that. But I'm actually excited about this. It
looks good.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about there was some Spanish gaming company or news company that released the information for Pokemon Sword, Gun, and Sword, Shield, and Gun? Someone's on basically on the internet, someone photoshopped an image of Pokemon Gun. It looked
I
like
heard
the
that.
others, but it was shaped like a gun.
Yeah.
And some company published a story about it because they thought it was real.
that's funny.
That's hilarious.
This has me interested. I haven't beat a Pokemon game in a long time. I was hoping for a more medieval setting. I would like to have a Pokemon game that's just set like where there's no cars or speeding bullet trains or bicycles. Everyone's just old. Everyone's eating dirt, living in wood houses and things like that.
With Pokemon.
Yeah, with Pokemon. And I feel like it would be really interesting. And I'm not even joking. I really would like one set in an older, less modern time. And this one seems to be more modern than most. But I'm still excited about it. And this is going to be the one that finally pressures me into getting the Switch, unfortunately.
So it'll be a great
I hope it's
investment.
good.
John, you're up, buddy.
Apex Legends continues to grow. After 1 month in the can, Apex Legends has reached 50 million players. Can I get a finger, please? Up. Apex.
He doesn't know where he is.
The Twitter post reads, quote, Apex Legends hit 50 million players worldwide. We are humbled by all your support and can't wait to show you what's next, end quote. The 50 million number is likely referring to anyone who's ever fired up the game. It does not necessarily include only those who play regularly.
I'm one of those 50 million who only fired up the game. I don't like it. I miss Titanfall.
That game it's good. I haven't played it.
Look,
Well,
I haven't
I
played
bet,
it.
in like a week. I haven't played it.
Yeah,
in like a
I've
week.
been doing this new game, so I haven't gotten a chance. But yeah, it's
so solid.
My new game's actually moving.
it's
in with me.
definitely the first real challenge to Fortnite since
doing a
since
game.
Fortnite.
Mine's moving in with me.
So
Do you get what I'm saying?
I'd imagine that's going to be EA's biggest game for a while.
For sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Until the next one.
I'm very excited about this piece of news,
I hope it's good.
ladies and gentlemen.
Raving Rabbits 3.
Remember in the beginning of the year when we said our most hype? This was on mine.
It was, wasn't it?
If you remember this.
It was.
Jedi Fallen Order reveal. Respawn, aka Respawn, is also working on a Star Wars game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will be revealed at this year's Star Wars celebration in Chicago. An exclusive first look will be shown during a special panel on Saturday, April 13th. The panel will feature discussion with never before heard details on the upcoming full release game. This is hype.
Fall release game.
Fall release game, not full. So that's in the fall this year, people. This next part is hype. The game will follow a Padawan that has survived Order 66 and takes place shortly after the events of Revenge of the Sith.
See, Chris,
How hype is that?
That sound you hear, that's what we call air conditioning.
That's funny.
I thought it was a vacuum cleaner. But I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about Star Wars that much. And I'm excited about this. Obi-Wan will be in this, right?
It's a single player.
It's after Revenge of the Sith. Why is that funny?
Because he's on Tatooine hiding.
Maybe he'll come out of hiding and help this Padawan.
I don't think that's the point of hiding.
Yeah. That's not how hiding works, Chris.
You can't be like, Darth Vader's out doing his thing. You know what? Let's just go ahead and come out and let everyone know.
You know what?
We'll just show up. It'll be cool.
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for a legitimate single player Star Wars game.
How dare you disrespect
Prediction.
Sam Witwer?
This is an 7 to 8 hour game followed by a multiplayer. That's what it's going to be.
You think so?
It's Respawn.
That would be hilarious. That would be.
I've
that
been
would be-
told. I've been reading that this is not a multiplayer game.
I've actually read that this is just a Witcher 3 mod.
That'd be funny.
You would be okay with.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be hilarious.
Speaking of mods, did you see the mod for Resident Evil Remake where they replaced Mr. X with Thomas the Tank Engine?
I've seen photos of it. I haven't watched it.
It's quite great. Just like you're walking around, all of a sudden you hear choo choo,
Now,
and then the theme music.
speaking of Resident Evil, I watched a video by Donkey.
Ah, yes.
Not the one that you showed me, but another one I kept
That's
going.
PewDiePie, right?
I kept going down. Sure,
Video game donkey? No.
I kept going down the rabbit hole, and a lot of the things that are funny about him is the subtle things that you might not notice. He put a screenshot of a box art of Resident Evil 7, but instead of Resident Evil 7, it said Wasted Bullets 7,
Yeah.
which was pretty funny. Not obviously to you guys.
I liked his tribute to Reggie today. It made me laugh.
I didn't get it. I thought it was pretty lame.
It comes out and he's it's showing Reggie getting ready to do an interview, and all of a sudden he opens his mouth and the freaking Lion King Circle of the Life comes out of his mouth. And it just kind of does a nice recap of the whole entire Circle of Life for Reggie at
I would
on
say
Nintendo.
I would say you had to be there, but that wouldn't have helped.
Sean, you describe your favorite YouTube video now. That's good podcasting. Describe your favorite YouTube video now.
The baby shark.
That's a good pick.
Didn't I introduce you to Video Game Donkey?
No.
Baby shark.
Maybe.
Do.
But I do want to read through Chris, but it's not possible. Activision Blizzard is self-aware. Like Skynet.
Let's not do that, John.
Wow, that's nice. In a recent SEC filing, Activision Blizzard discussed ramifications of its recent decision to cut 800 jobs and how it may negatively impact its business going forward. The business discussed, quote, the company not being able to deliver popular games consistently, its dependence on a smaller number of franchises, managing its own growth, and the potential of legal proceedings, end quote. Activision has stated that it has put aside $150 million to compensate impacted workers. However, regarding the layoffs, Activision stated, quote, while we believe this restructuring plan will enable us to provide better opportunities for talent and greater expertise and scale on behalf of our business units, our ability to achieve the desired and anticipated benefits from the restructuring plan within our desired and expected time frame is subject to many estimates and assumptions, end quote.
That's good PR.
That ain't PR. That's
Yes.
I hope Activision.
that's an SEC filing. That's not PR.
I hope they
That's
crash and
PR.
burn, except Overwatch. I hope it all crashes and burns.
Even WoW?
Huh?
Even WoW?
Especially.
Even the StarCraft?
Believe it or not,
Especially.
believe
This
it
is
or
why
not,
we can't move our friendship forward. You can't say things like
We
that.
actually can't move our friendship forward because
You're
I never
supposed to say-
spend time with you.
Good
You're
point,
supposed to
Chris.
say
Good
that
point.
you just want Blizzard to survive. Because that's all we really want is just Blizzard.
No, I want World of Warcraft to stop and for them to make a new one. Stop. Hey,
They're remaking Warcraft 3 for you.
That's not what I just said. Just stop and make a whole new game.
Return to Warcraft?
Sure.
Yeah.
But as robots. Build a whole new engine, make a whole new game.
Boo.
One that fits the current, or release World of Warcraft on mobile phones, because that's what it looks like.
I don't know. Latest updates look nice.
It's also not true.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Finally this week. I ain't got the voice to do it, so finally this week.
Finally this week, THQ Nordic in hot water. Philip Brock, PR and marketing director, has previously apologized for the company hosting an AMA on the controversial 8chan 8chan has become controversial for hosting illegal pornography. In an apology on Twitter, Brock stated, I personally agreed to this AMA without doing my proper due diligence to understand the history and controversy of the site. I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any shape or form. I am terribly sorry for the short-sightedness of my decision and promise to be far more vigorous in my assessment of these activities in the future. This was not being edgy. This was not about being edgy. This blew up, and I very much regret to have done it in the first place.
Sounds to
forgot
me
to say
like
a
his.
quote.
Yeah.
You didn't say future right.
See, here's
we
the thing.
we say future.
One, like I said, I'm beyond this. I don't podcast at all anymore. They actually kicked me out. They won't let me do it anymore.
Who did? Who won't?
Podcasting gods. But if you read it right, you don't got to say end quote. You just read it real good.
We
you know?
like it. That's our thing, though, man.
But I didn't know that. You guys kept saying end quote, and I was like, what are these weirdos doing?
Hey, but your beard still looks.
You know what I bet?
End quote.
I bet whoever booked that is no longer working at that company.
Actually, there's no word that he's been fired yet. I'm sure it's coming, but
Someone will get fired for this because
Here's
it's
the
just
thing.
bad PR.
Hey, so everyone should be fired because no one's ever heard of 4chan or 8chan and gone, this is a great idea. Hey, go to Reddit. Why do you think no one goes to these places? It's not about... Sorry, go ahead.
no, they got the invite from 8chan.
And they should have said no.
No.
Look,
Yeah.
I hear you 100%, but it just looks like this was a case of bad decisions, obviously, but they didn't know.
Yeah, well, when I say everyone should be fired, I meant no one should be fired. Because
No, obviously, but we should be careful not to just assume that because they did this on 8chan that they're
No,
racist
supportive.
pedophiles.
I don't believe
Look,
that.
here's the
It's
thing.
just a dumb thing to do. And
KKK is gonna the KKK.com is gonna invite them on to do the next AMA, and then they'll be in trouble.
That's when.
fool
Yeah.
me once.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, we didn't know KKK.com was that KKK. We didn't do our due diligence.
And apparently DLC for Darksiders 3 dropped, and I didn't even know it.
So your joke, right, about that. I was at work one time and there's a popular sporting goods place called Dick's Sporting Goods, right?
Richards.
I thought that at that point in time, surely they had that domain on lock. Right?
Oh, I remember this.
Just go to Dix.com.
I was at work looking for dicksportinggoods.com and might have left the sporting goods off. Boy, did I get an eyeful.
And what was it like when you started your job hunt?
Or you mean the
When you got
immediate
fired.
sweat and hot pits and everything else, the uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable in my own
You walked
skin.
up to your boss, you said,
I
I
couldn't-
was watching porn at my desk and I'm sorry.
I couldn't close the screens fast enough.
I
You hear
didn't
me?
mean to.
Did you like go, I got to switch to something else and pull up whitehouse.com? Is that where you went to?
Did it not block it?
It did that. It was John.
It showed it, and then it blocked.
There were so many of them. It couldn't block all of them.
Dude, there was some baseball
Richard
bats,
Overload.
hockey sticks, golf clubs, cleats, tennis rackets.
All the things, bro.
Baseball bats.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where you're hot at your desk. You gotta close it
Hot,
fast.
you got to go to Dix.com, check and see what kind of men's trousers they're selling.
I think I was looking for like soccer cleats for real, or something weird like that, or ping pong paddles because at that point we were playing ping pong at work. See, Chris, ping pong is
You guys want to wrap this up?
clearly never.
Electronic mail
This
from
is
the
real bad
future.
on that end this week, but whatever.
It's probably fine. I still did my part.
I am dying, but I will say that if you want me to read your stuff before I die, you should write it to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com, just like the Winter Soldier Bucky did.
Hey, Bucky.
Yeah, he writes in.
What's up, Bucky?
The Winter Soldier writes us. Do you get letters from the Winter Soldier, Chris?
No,
I didn't think
he's
so.
banned from podcasting.
No, I was
remember?
going to say, if you're listening, write me a letter, and if we get 1,000 emails, we'll just remove Chris from the show and we'll
Ouch.
add me back. So just send in 1,000 emails.
John and I sign off on that.
Ooh.
Yeah, you did.
Hope you all love Evolve Chat.
Who wouldn't?
Hey, guys.
Weekly Evolve chat.
Right? Well, really, our time was really just weekly Evolve and Witcher 3 chat, right?
With a mix of Arkham Knight.
Yeah, yeah.
But 1,000 emails, bring me back. We'll shoot Chris out of a cannon, not onto a pad or anything. He'll probably die on impact, but write an
Ouch.
email and let us know.
He writes in, though, and says, hey, guys.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Thank
I
you.
already said hey,
Hello.
Bucky.
I mean, you didn't have to, but those two, they should
He probably is a big fan. So
Yeah. I've been on the fence about picking up Anthem mainly because of the bad reviews. The last games of service I played was Monster Hunter World, and I really enjoyed playing that. I know Anthem isn't the same as that game, but I'm looking for something fun. But with Days Gone and Sekiro right around the corner, I don't know if I should hold off on Anthem. I know you have just given your thoughts about the game, but if you could address these points, I would appreciate it. 1, have the patches fix the load times? A little bit.
Yeah, I haven't run into an infinite loading screen since the initial day 1 patch that they got, or the day 2 patch that they added.
2, can you play this game solo? You can, but it's not really suggested.
I've been playing it solo to some success. There are some issues you're going to run into. I'd say overall, if you're willing to persevere and you don't want to play with people, you can definitely pull it off. And if you enjoy the gameplay, it's mostly worth it.
Yeah. 3, are the loot boxes an issue on slowing progression? I have
Loot boxes.
Yeah, there's not really loot box. There are boxes of treasure that you get whenever you do strongholds, but they're more of like, you know.
You can't buy loot boxes. If that's
No,
what you mean.
yeah, no, it's not like that. It's more of, I would say it took me about a week of end game play, and that was not playing too much this past week to get to the point where I'm already on Grandmaster 2 difficulty. I'm going to guess that the grind to get to 500 to get to 3 will be very long and tedious, but as far as the majority of it, no. 4, it's worth waiting until after I leave Soul World and the Avengers Endgame to pick the game up because he's Bucky and he's the Winter Soldier.
Aha.
See what he did there? And he actually wrote a follow-up afterwards.
1 email per week. Go and skip that one.
And he said, hey guys, well, my brother picked up 2 copies of Anthem on PS4 on Saturday, 1 for himself and 1 for me, and we have been playing together. As of this email, I've played 10 hours, and it's been fun, real fun, actually. The load screens are still annoying and long. I have found the flying not to be as smooth as I would have thought. It reminds me of a baby deer trying to walk. I guess with time it will get better. The shooting is stellar. The game doesn't really explain much of the loot and crafting mechanics. That's probably true.
Yeah.
The story is, well, it's there. It has an alien sci-fi vibe, but that's okay. I like Owen, and he reminds me of Iron Man's Jarvis. That's funny. It's not a 6 like Metacritic has it sitting at. The game is a solid 8, and I'm looking forward to what they do in the future. It feels like a cross between Destiny and Monster Hunter. At times, I think it tries hard, and I wish the solo campaign would have been a 15-hour single-player story that could have been fleshed out, or could have fleshed out the lore better. I wanted to provide an update and thank you guys for the content. You guys single-handedly make me stay in the Soul World, or make my stay in the Soul World a pleasure by supplying me with great podcasts to listen to every week. Sincerely, the Winter Soldier.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bucky.
Thanks. Come out. Thanks a lot. That was amazing. Thanks, Bucky, for real.
Thanks, Bucky. I don't know you, but I do appreciate you writing into the show.
Chris wrote in because people suggested things, and he just titled this Discord. He said, love the podcast and would join a Discord. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, we got
Your
a bunch
mom's
of those on
box.
Twitter, too, so thanks. I'm probably gonna get that going.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. The interesting email. As I look at John. So, one of the emails we got last week was from Chris, who, joking last week, this really is the guy sitting next to you. That's the way he signed it. But he's just titled this response. So, Chris, sit back because you don't have full context. But
So wait, the guy that wrote this email, his name is Chris?
yes.
Okay, just to be clear to everyone, not me.
Or me. Though he says it might be me. The internet is a very easy place to overreact and scream at the idea of a person, not a living, breathing human being. Unfortunately, this is the worst way to have a discussion, and it's why internet communication culture is creating an enormous divide in discourse, politics, and otherwise. John, I immediately regretted some of my language when I sent that email. I stand by my conclusions, but I could have just as easily gotten my point across without being snarky and disrespectful to you. I sincerely apologize. You are also correct when you state on the pod today that we are living in Trump's world. If things had gone differently in 2016, I would have rolled my eyes at the unionization comments and immediately forgotten them. Because we are existing in the hyper reality of the Great Orange One, I decided it would be good. It would be a good idea to write in an ultra snarky internet research hit job against someone I do not know and against an idea that many economists much smarter, more educated in economics than myself happen to agree with. There are many economists on the other side as well, though. To defend myself a touch, the Washington Post article was meant to point out the reason why Detroit went bankrupt, not to defend unionization specifically, which was dumb considering that the whole conversation was about unionization and more evidence that quick Google searches aren't worth much in an argument substance. As far as the retiree pensions go, there is corruption within the system that needs to be weeded out, but the vast majority of individuals collecting these pensions are deserving. I wrongfully took your criticism of the former issue as a statement of opposing the existence of retirement pensions altogether. Obviously, that's not what you meant. You're absolutely right that anyone can do some service level internet research and come up with a few credible links that support their pre-existing beliefs. I shouldn't have attempted to make an airtight case for my opinion using Google search and quick scans for articles. That's not exactly good faith arguing. Your good faith argument comment is the most important part of this conversation and is wrong of me and others to assume that John's stance on unionization is solely because he cares, not for the plight of the worker. As he said today, it could just as easily or just as likely be because he does not support the worker and wants to see the worker continue to be employed, regardless if the conditions are optimum. It is perfectly reasonable argument that unionization could lead to a decrease in quality, thus a decrease in revenue, thus a decrease in productions, and thus a decrease in gainfully employed laborers. I do not agree with this opinion, but that does not invalidate it. I am sorry for trying to do it with so much sarcasm and service level in internet research. And then he finally says, with that being said, here's what I should have said last week, right? He took a second old chance at this. Unionization has many problems, as most bureaucratic organizations do. The solution, I think, should be accountability within these systems, as opposed to complete opposition to their existence. Labor and management should work together to keep the unstable balance of power and position where all involved can maximize the risk, time, and effort they supply to a given endeavor. I didn't do that. I took a pre-existing belief of mine, mixed in some half-Richard Google searches, sprinkled in some snark, and topped it off with an empty moralistic argument. While I still feel the union opposition is morally wrong, I am sorry for expressing this opinion like I did. When I did that, I became part of the machine that has engulfed us since November 2016. If everyone is thinking the same way, no one is thinking. Be on me. Love the show. Game on. Inside your mom's box. Sincerely, Chris. Joking. Last week, this is really the guy next to you right now recording this podcast.
That would be funny.
Thank you for the kind words, Chris.
If you right now told us that was you as the 2-week joke, that would be brilliant. But thank you for again writing in, because John definitely opened the dialogue up a little differently, gave a response, and yeah, it's fun that we can. I like that we can just talk about things, and sometimes some of the things we bring up in video games stir up the same kind of emotions that like say a politics do or whatever, and you're on one side and we're on the other, or it appears that way. But it's fun to talk it out. So thanks for replying. And John,
talk it out.
Talk it out. Just talk it out.
West side talking. East side talking.
You got anything to say to that, John? Are you good?
He was dumbfounded the other day.
I'm so emotional. No, I appreciate his comments. I appreciate his apology, though. It's honestly not needed, and I did not take it as a hit piece.
You appreciate the conversation,
I didn't assume that he meant any ill intent, but keep writing, keep listening, and thank you for both emails and the discussion.
For sure.
Following up to last week, remember Judd wrote in and he said, like, I want to know what song you guys play right before the news. And we're like, we don't play a song right before news.
Yeah.
He said, hey, y'all, love the show. Y'all make my, or no, wait. Sorry, that was last week. So this week he says, so I feel like a complete Richard. Immediately after hitting the send button, I realized I screwed up and I meant the song after the news and before y'all read emails. Sorry about that. Thanks for taking the time to think through what I meant exactly. It's kind of funny to think I wanted to know the song before the news, and it's just a typewriter sound effect. Anyway, feel free to just email me. No need to read back on the show. Of course, we'll read it back. Much love for you all, do. Looking forward to next week's show, where maybe listeners won't come down so hard on John for his opinions.
Yeah, but that's fun for me and Chris. So.
Yeah, right? That's our best part. But like, oh,
here we go.
Get to watch him sweat.
You know, Judd, I feel bad because after this, of course, like I read this Thursday and I went and searched and realized I don't have the data source that I used that from originally. It was on my old computer. I thought I copied over the file. I've only got the 2 base files for the opening and closing themes of the show. And I think everyone knows where the theme comes for Topic Time outside of Sean's lovely vocal. That's the one piece of...
What are you going to do if we lose it?
I'll probably just make a new one.
Okay. Well, then that like calms me down because I did sound a little nervous.
The show.
Yeah.
Way to go, Chris.
You know, I was going to change all the music this week.
Don't do that.
It's already done.
You're going to bring it back to the old stuff?
Yeah, just like 200th episode. Gains and gains. Gains and gains. Chris Joshua. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Right? See?
I do.
John smiled at that.
Unfortunately, yes.
I am not going to read all these today. I'm going to save some because in case you all can't realize it, my voice is going and it's going fast. But there was one more I wanted to read for this week from Andrew Lisbeth. And it just says, Chris, Sean, and John, just wanted to thank you for the nonstop entertainment I got out of hearing y'all try to segue between everything. At one point, I agreed with Sean that y'all should just just get to the point. But the worse it got, the more I laughed.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting to the point, and he sent us a link, but I'll show it to you.
Is that Stockholm Syndrome, I think is what he just described, right?
He says, what do you guys think of the growing number of celebrities, Dwayne Johnson, Terry Crews, Post Malone, etc., getting into the gaming, streaming, YouTube gaming scene? I feel as though it's taking away from the small-time streamers and making it a bit harder for anyone who wants to get into social gaming scene to give it a shot. On the other hand, it does force other creators to spice it up a bit when it comes to their own content. Love to hear what you think. This is great. As always, gay on your mom's buttocks. Tug life.
Tug
and life is spelled T-Y or L-Y-F-E.
So
P.S. Kingdom Hearts gets an 8 from a longtime fan of the series, and I hope Anthem didn't disappoint anyone, even though Chris sounded like he might have some gripes when mentioning it last week.
So one of the coolest people that I watch stream video game stuff is he's a worldwide DJ. His name's Deadmau5. He actually has a Twitch account to where he legit gets on, and his main game is PUBG. But he's got probably one of those.
Quit Twitch.
Yeah, he did recently quit. I'm saying at one point, but
T-Pain streams on
he would
Twitch.
go on and not only Twitch stream PUBG, but he would show like his studio, which was very cool to me because I'm into music and all that stuff, right? So I'll say that I don't mind it when they do it right. They do have a unfair advantage because they are popular, so people are going to tune into them. But then you got people like the guy who plays Hodor on Game of Thrones decides he wants to go be a DJ. That's where I draw the line.
Or he already was a DJ.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line.
I don't have
a
a
problem
problem
with
with a DJ before that though. So
I think, but now I still think he DJs and somebody else
you can't
famous.
keep doing it. If you got famous
He's
for
Hodor.
podcasting, are you going to quit DJing?
Yeah,
I kind of personally, I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have passion for this.
I'm kidding. That's why I said it.
Personally, I don't have a problem with it because I think no celebrity is going to provide the same amount of content available as a true Twitch streamer. But it's a good thing. Like the biggest thing that happened as far as, or one of the biggest things as far as gaming and streaming events and all that occurred when Drake played
with Ninja.
Like that brought a bunch of people who probably never cared about Fortnite at that point to caring about and checking it out and trying the game. So that means more money for the industry. I just hope that it's not only those one-off events. Like if you could get to that point where, yeah, like, you know what, Justin Bieber or God, who's huge these days? I don't know.
Really?
Like,
Justin Bieber?
yeah, I know. I was like trying to think of our people.
Travis Scott.
Yeah, Travis Scott would be a big one.
See, John, Travis Scott is.
Taylor Swift.
I need to know.
T-Swizzle, yeah.
Yeah, if Taylor Swift wants to get over there and play Overcooked 2 and it
People
makes
are gonna
that
watch
game
it.
a ton,
Yeah.
then go right ahead. You know, I don't care.
I don't know what I think is cooler. I was thinking about this as you were talking, and then I found a way to bring back
He wasn't listening to you. is what
my
he
love
just
of
said,
my
basically.
love of World of Warcraft. I don't know what's cooler, knowing that famous people stream their video game playing,
Sure.
or that famous people at one point could have played the game you were playing, like World of Warcraft.
Before
Sure.
they were famous.
No, like Robin Williams played it
I
while
think
he was famous.
I think non-celebrity Twitch streamers should unionize. Like
Really?
it's celebrity Twitch streamers.
really,
John, people hit us up on Twitter and they do so at Weekly Games Chat. What do they say?
Well, if you pay attention to our Twitter channel,
Michael B. Jordan likes anime.
every
Your
Wednesday,
connection.
Weekly Games Chat tweets out what the show's going to be about. And last week, of course, it was about Metro Exodus, but Hail Teacher Loki wanted to know if that meant Anthem meaned. Anthem is just for this week. So, indeed, sir, Anthem is for this week. Let's see here. I had a listener, Joseph, said that he was getting married in October. Congrats, first of all, in Nashville.
Congrats.
Then he
Congrats.
says, am I looking for a DJ gig? I think that would be fantastic. We should make that.
Where does he live?
Nashville. How cool would that be? Road trip, DJ, listener.
Road
Nashville's
trip,
fun.
guys.
I'd go
I'm
with
in.
Who's
I'm in.
paying for my ticket and hotel room?
Who's this guy talking?
You have a job.
You're right about that.
So S10 Dravin Kelly had just got finished with our podcast, and of course last week we talked about the Discord possibility, and he said that you can use Discord as a mobile app also. So that's they've never actually tried it on PC. He laughed out loud about
Shut
that, but it's going to be a thing. I got you.
Facts.
At Tunov or Tono V 12. Not sure how you want me to say that. Have you considered doing a podcast on just Blackout and COD with tips and tricks and whatnot? We replied to that. We said probably not. We tend to move on from one game to the next. That said, we did talk about Blackout last year. Plus, and this is the most important part, do you really want John giving you COD tips? And that's when they replied and said, good point. Figured since they made changes and stuff, it might be interesting to revisit.
Wait, why
Thanks.
is that a good point?
Thank you. At Nat_the_Gooner, he said, if I ever visit America and get into trouble, I'd like John to be my lawyer, please. He can pick holes in any argument. In December,
I responded to that. Wait, did I?
in December, there was a chat going back and forth where we put out, Chris does our music episode, and he put a question out about, would we rather have a huge soundtrack with multiple selections from games or a specifically curated playlist with personal selections? And we had a couple of things go back and forth where Chris at one point told this guy, Lucas, that if this name ever changes, whatever it was, that Chris was going to do a drunk podcast at least once a month. He said, you, the listener, and especially John and Sean don't want that. Well, Lucas changed his name, Chris. So you're gonna have to figure that out. And his new name is at Lucas_of_Rivia.
That's cool. We can do it next week. We're doing Far Cry, right?
I look
I'm
back.
in.
Definitely get drunk during Far Cry.
I look back on the drunk podcast fondly now.
It was a fun time, and it didn't get too far out of control. We had fun with
invite
it.
me to that?
No,
I'm an alcoholic. I can't believe that
it
that's
was.
the
It
one I
just,
didn't get invited
it just
to.
happened. We've had beer sent to us from a listener. Amazing beer. And then some point, Chris
Where's
just
my cut?
let's see, Matthew on he replied to us, told us great show as always. You're the best. We did ask about Discord for the weekly game chat community. He says, hook us up. It will be great to chat about games and what we've been watching with everyone. Possibly set up a community game night and things of that nature. Game on. Joseph Ellison said he was playing this game because 3 big Richards from @weeklygameschat wouldn't shut up about it. Hashtag y'all were right. That game is God of War.
Nice.
So that is awesome.
It's okay.
And John did reply, like he said, to the Nat DeGooner thing about being in the United States, lawyer and all that stuff. John said he'll take that as a compliment. So that's right. John is on the Twitter replying to you guys now. Have fun with that, huh?
With the tweets.
With the tweets.
Daddy's out here tweeting.
Tweeting it up.
That is the first and only time I've tweeted or responded to a tweet ever.
Really? That was like...
Is your Twitter profile picture an egg?
No, it's a Chozo statue.
A what?
A Chozo
You
statue.
can't just make this up.
Mario and Lando said at Weekly Game Chat in a hype man voice. I don't think I'm going to do the hype man voice, should I?
I don't know what that is.
It's like the in this corner, that thing. So
Oh.
imagine that while I'm saying it. Here we have John, the controversially bad A. So you're a BA.
Oh.
And in the next corner we have the one and only DJ Sean. And in the final corner we have Mr. T-Rex himself, Chris. And combined they form the Weekly Game Chat. That's pretty nice. Everyone that listened remembered that as a gift to his wife.
His wife.
Yes. His
David
wife. Sorry.
McClendon wanted us to just basically say your wife for her a lot. He wrote in an email specifically worded for us to say it over and over. So he took a selfie with his wife. Her hand is over her forehead. He's smiling and laughing. Wanted to tell us that he gave his wife our wedding present. Our delivery was flawless, and this is about the reaction I expected from his wife. We had a good laugh. We had a good belly laugh, and he wanted to thank us, Glorious Richards, and thanks from his wife. Hashtag your wife. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
a good
Made me laugh.
Yeah, that's good times. Let's see. Make sure we don't got anything else. Another person at Ugler_MP says that they would Discord. I was going to say another person, and then that they would Discord. Ugler_MP. Chris's head goes in. Let's
Chris's
see.
voice is
at
kind of shot,
M_John_K at Weekly Games Chat. Chris, every once in a while you mentioned playing 2K. Which, and then it says, quote, my blank
career.
are you playing? If it's career, what's your rating up to?
91, pretty close to 92.
Hydraberg says 2 weeks in, still loving Anthem with his buddies. Game on to you, Hydraberg. Because I replied to Joseph about being a DJ in his wedding, he said that you must be recording. Rock game on, fellas. And I'm also serious about the DJ thing. Let's make it happen. I'm going to tweet right now. I am serious too. Period.
Is that the name of a movie? What was the first one like?
I don't know what you mean by that. We had a couple of direct messages. And that was the first one was from Hell Teacher Loki, which he does write in a bunch. He mentioned that he hoped that past week's emails did not discourage diversity in our podcast.
It did not.
He likes the this is funny. He likes the 2 current gamers in one goof format. That's funny because you guys are the gamers and I'm the goof. The politics talks is more sparse than the sports talk. God forbid. But as an outsider looking in, or from the perspective of someone who isn't from the U.S., it's enlightening to listen to both sides of every social and political conversations in the same manner that I enjoy listening to your differing opinions on games. Granted, sometimes one of you plays the devil's advocate, but my point stands.
John.
I came, and this is where he says Q Sean to the podcast, because see, when he says I came, I would go to the podcast because of your collective passion for gaming, but we'll stay for the diversity of your ideas. So thank you so much for that. And I told him that we try to stay in the lane of when John does news, for sure, he tries to stay in the lane of it being gaming related, obviously.
Yeah, we don't just bring up like
we didn't. Yeah, I said we didn't foresee that controversy would happen. But we always
we don't sit there and go like, John, how do you feel about AOC and her comments this past week?
Look, I would never say build the wall on air. You know what I mean?
Did.
Oh my god!
I would never say it on air.
but as Chris
said
said,
controversy.
Controversy.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. It's hilarious.
That's an official word.
Controversy.
yeah. So you
Of the
can.
podcast?
If you just go to Britain, that's
We
what
had
they
some
say. They say
controversy last week. Yeah.
It sounds like you did, but I don't think you know that you did.
Anyway,
No, I know that we did. Richard.
Continue.
But like Chris and I, we always say we're going to read what you write into us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and I will read the rest of what we got this past week. If you didn't hear stuff this week, you'll hear it next week.
So I continue to talk, and I did say that we do want to talk about Anthem this next week and let people know how we feel about it. Thanks for reaching out. And that's when he said, looking forward to the positivity over Anthem. Thanks to me, because I had said it was me and the rest of the boys. And thanks for putting up these amazing episodes. Thank you for listening and writing into us. So Tej,
Chris just tried to kill. He just tried to kill the segment. He's trying to. He said we'll read it next week.
Did you say we'll read it next week? That's fine. Tej.
I think
Chris hates listeners and doesn't want. They get bored. They want me to do this segment, and they always space out. Thanks to DJ Space Lion for the following you back. It's pending because you got it logged. That's fine. At Joseph, thanks for the following you back. And at 2Nov12, thank you for the following you back. You can always follow us on Twitter if you want to at Weekly Games Chat. Chris would probably tell you that in a minute because he's going to say the same thing 42 times on how to reach us. So go ahead, Chris.
As always, you can find us on Twitter and on Facebook, Spotify, everywhere that you can think of, YouTube. If we're there, it's always going to be at Weekly Games Chat. And of course, once again, if you want to write in your thoughts, opinions, do so at weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use, and you'll get a new episode just like this every Wednesday. If while you're there and you really do like us, drop a rating or a review. Helps people find the show. We really do appreciate it, especially John. He literally combs over these reviews, and he cries when there's not a review every week. He's told me.
And if you don't like us, go ahead and write a negative review because we could use the constructive feedback.
Yes.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, by the way, guys. I appreciate it.
Can I say that our negative reviews have gone down 900% since we made the change?
You guys are going through menopause?
Made the change.
Since we're no longer games and games. Were you there when we were Geek versus Games?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For like 2 weeks.
All right.
Yeah, that's about how long we were Geek versus Games.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I'm not surprised the negative reviews have gone down since I left. I'm just insufferable. So, thanks for having me.
Well, they say the podcast gods banned you, right?
So let me know how sick you Ray is. I'm thinking about picking that up myself.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, Chris. We missed you.
What's John doing?
I don't know what he's doing. But anyways.
Is he intimidating Sean?
Until next time.
Just trying to perk him up.
Fine, dude.
Until next time, I will simply say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Chris. And
Game on,
Sean.
Chris.
Game on,
Game on,
Chris.
John.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
That's disgusting still.
Thug life.
Cool.